What is going on, everybody? It's Dan the Mushroom Man with another episode of Live with Dan the Mushroom Man. We're going to do some stuff in the lab in the kitchen. So today I didn't really call it live in the lab or live in the kitchen because we're going to be doing kind of things in both areas. So I'm glad you guys joined me today. I actually haven't had a live in about 10 days now. But thank you guys for joining me. We got Sandra in the house. Got a Facebook user. What's going on? Josh, yeah, your CO2 bag will actually grow mushrooms in it. That's why in the instructions, I actually say to shake the bag twice a week, as it'll actually grow mushrooms. Your mushroom bag by now is months old, because I think I gave you that like 4 or 5 months ago, maybe 5 or 6. So that's pretty awesome. It's still making CO2, but it's also making mushrooms. What's going on, Shroomhead, a Facebook user? We are live over on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook today. So, yeah, it'll start to pin, Josh. So it'll actually start to grow little pins, but it won't actually grow a mushroom because it doesn't really have a stable connection to the ground to grow it. What's going on, Ted? Well, it is almost evening time. Oh, my music went off. I didn't have it on. Shuffle. Nope, it is. But thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to smoke a little cannabis here. I'm going to share this out some more because I didn't share it out enough. Tag a few more people. Share it to groups. Welcome to do the same if you could. And I think there's a few more groups here. But we're gonna give away some lion's mane too, and I gotta get that hashtag going, and then I got some cannabis from Roster Rhino. He sent me this stuff. Is really good. We'll smoke some cannabis before we get started here, because that's just a good thing to do. Brain going. What's going on, Helene? Mark, what's going on? What's going on, Natasha? Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it. Don't forget to hit those like, share, reaction buttons. We're going to educate and have some fun today. I know I've shared a lot about how you actually make a mushroom bag. So today we're going to make 3 of them. And then I have some FECO to make, which is becoming a more weekly occurrence here. I used to make it about once a month, and now I'm making FECO once a week just to keep up with the amount of people that need it. Just sharing out a couple times. Also, have this cool little piece. I have not smoked out of it yet, but it's a coffee cannabis cup. So let's try that today. We're going to try that here in the live here in a second. Everybody's sharing out, but I just realized that I had it. I actually got it for Christmas from a friend. I can't remember. I think it was Debbie. But I had a couple friends who actually gave me cannabis products. I can't remember who gave me which. But yeah, that's pretty cool. It's actually a huge mug. Look, this is your normal size mug, and this is a smoking bowl mug. But look at that. That thing is awesome. It looks handmade. The color on it is phenomenal. There's also a card. Sorry, my fingernail looks like crap. I actually, as you remember, broke it off 4 months ago, so it looks like shit. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's got a carb on the side. So we'll try it out. Looks like it'll hit pretty good, but it does have a really big hole in it. So this time of year, your bud's a little dry. It might fall through the hole. Thanks, Melissa. How you guys doing today? Helene, how's that? If Helene's still here, how's that FECO treating you? I know a lot of you have been trying that FECO. I've gotten a lot of feedback, and I love hearing people tell me that it's helping them change their life, doing all this other stuff. So, what's going on, Candy Grammy? How you doing? And also that lion's mane's changing people's lives too. I've sold. We're gonna have a big celebration tomorrow because it's been such a great month. But I've sold over 45 bottles of the lion's mane this month. That's amazing. I remember when I first started selling that, it was selling 1 or 2 bottles a week, if that. So we've come a long way. I've come a long way in educating people. The mushrooms, speak for themselves. It doesn't really. I just tell people about lion's mane, then I sell it to them, and then the nature takes care of the rest. And I love seeing these stories of how people. I had a guy who was at the farmer's market local to me, told me he tried half a dozen prescriptions for some gastrointestinal issues he had. And he tried my lion's mane. He actually tried it for depression and anxiety. He was not taking it for gastrointestinal issues. He said that the lion's mane completely took away his issues, that mixed prescription couldn't, that kratom couldn't touch. He said he even tried kratom for this issue, and the lion's mane knocked all those out of the water. And I really find that intriguing that it's that powerful, yet our doctors, everything that's in America, still not talking about lion's mane. I'm at a farmer's market talking about lion's mane, not your doctor like it should be, but that's the way America is, guys. So the fact that this guy literally tried 6 prescriptions, and I'm growing stuff in my basement that actually, beats that is astounding, and it shows you how powerful nature really is. What's going on, Rasta? What's going on, Ted? Yeah, I need more FECO. I need more FECO too. I got to make it. And anybody out there who lives local to Quincy, I am still looking for people to buy cannabis trim from, and I will pay money for it. I actually just made a post about it the other day, and I had a friend who said he threw 3 pounds of trim away. Quit throwing your trim away, people. Don't throw it away. I will take it. That stuff is worth at least $75 a pound to me. And if people do not throw your trim away, there's still a lot of valuable medicine in it, and I hate when people do that. I mean, you basically throw a weed away because you know, it's still a very valuable medicine. You just can't smoke it. You just have to kind of find other ways to extract it. So, but we already have a bowl loaded of this cannabis that Rasta sent me. This Grape Funk. Friend Rasta, thank you very much. This is some really good shit, some really good weed. And Mythic Genetics grows it. So if you ever want that, am I saying it right, Rasta? Grape Funk? Because I don't see the name anywhere. I think I said it right, but it's grown by Mythic Genetics here. Not this isn't them, but that's their, you know, the logo. We all know Alex in the community. Ted, probably not. But a lot of the stuff that goes on in the cannabis community, obviously, as you know, is not legal. But the underground market, I always tell people, like, they make these laws, but then you never hear of them enforcing it. Like, you hear of them enforcing how many plants you can grow in Illinois, but then I never hear anybody getting arrested for growing over that amount, which, like, 75% of the people I know that grow more than 5 plants. It's like, it's one of those things where, like, well, it's a law, but who the hell's enforcing it? And then we don't even have enough money in our government to enforce it. So I know that a lot of these cannabis laws are supposed to be enforced by the USDA, and the USDA does not have enough field agents to do that. They literally send somebody from Springfield, Illinois to come to Quincy when they do inspect, like, CBD fields. So just because it's illegal, I mean, nobody really even cares. Nobody does anything. There's, you know, as you guys know, the United States Postal Service is the biggest delivery of drugs in our nation. And until they make it affordable to grow cannabis products, I am all about the black market, because the fact that some of these cannabis companies in states are charging astronomical rates just to get cannabis and get these into people's hands, who most of these people don't have money to afford it. They're on disability. They have other issues. And the black market will always remain strong when the government and all these companies are trying to make 500% profit margins, you know. I know what the set rate should be. I know where the cannabis industry should be at, and I know where, like, there are some states where they have very affordable prices, and the companies there are making a lot of money. And yet we have Illinois here, where we have companies going out of business and they're charging an arm and a leg for cannabis. So something's wrong there. It's more or less about the management of companies, man. Yeah, as legal as anywhere else. Heck yeah, see, it's weird. Some people throw it away. I'm trying to catch up on comments. Sorry. A second the Rasta log smoke, right? That was Grape Funk. Okay, I did say it, right. What's going on, Perry? Ohio 420, what's up? Right? And I've already seen these plants growing. I've never seen it firsthand, but I've seen plenty of videos, plenty of pictures that they are phenomenal. And now I smoked 3 different strains of his. The funny thing is that, speaking of that, Joe, there are people out there who throw away their trim who don't think it's very valuable, and then when somebody approaches them about selling it, they never even knew they could sell it. And it's worth a lot. Yeah, it should be worth a lot to yourself, first off, and then if you do have too much trim, you can learn ways to extract it. I would say FECO and edibles. Those are 2 things you can really make a lot of good stuff with. Yeah, as legal as everywhere else. What's going on, Facebook user? Right? They don't even follow the laws and politics themselves. Facebook user, I can't see who you are. You got 4 gallons of it. Hell, Jesus. What's going on, Macy? Loving your FECO, definitely order. I appreciate it. Just be patient with me. When I do run out, I do allow back ordering on my website. Sometimes I do run out, so you got to give me a day or 2 to make it. And if I am out for a while, I'll usually message you and we'll set something up. Yep, we can see your comment, Susan. Heck yeah, I'm glad that everybody is getting a lot of relief off that FECO. But Let's cheers. Let's smoke some of that. Gosh dang it, purple. See how horrible I am at remembering strain. Grape Funk, Mythic Genetics Grape Funk. I'm horrible at remembering names. Cheers, guys. Dang, I already used it all. You're supposed to use the grain size. But I always say there are people who use a lot more of it, and there are people who don't need a lot of it. It's all about how much pain you're in. And I know, I hope you're feeling better today, Ohio. Well, I appreciate it. I actually had some of those good genetics by Mythic. I won these in Ohio 420 show the other day. Some peanut butter and apples frost bolt. Some apple slaps. Excited to try those. I also got some genetics from Josh Schaefer there. He sent me some of those tarantula genetics, and there's one of them there. So that's going to be a strain I could grow. We got some really good stuff. We got some other strain here. Some strawberry Kush breath. And then a friend of mine just won these the other day and gave these to me. We got some 34 Mongrels genetics, lemon cleaner. It's got some free seeds in it. I don't know what they are yet, but I guess we'll find out when I open them. You guys, I literally have all these seeds right here. I have no idea what they are. There's like 10 different strains that my stoner ass wrote what was on it, and then the marker disappeared. So it used to have written on here what strain it was, and now it disappeared, and now I have no idea what it is. So I got like 10 strains like that. I'm sure a lot of other people run into that problem too. And then the other thing that is horrible that I did, this was I have this strain somewhere. So I found a seed in this a couple of years ago, and I believe it's in here. And it is a really, really good seed. It looks like a solid seed, and I have grown seeds I found in dispensary marijuana. They've grown just fine. But I had a Gelato 33. I bought this container here. Well, it wasn't this one. It was Verano. But I got a Gelato 33. It was a premium cut plant, and I found a seed in it. And I grew it for about 3 years. And I thought I cloned it, and I didn't. I cloned the wrong plant once, and I lost the genetic. But I have seeds of it somewhere. I just don't know which seeds they are. But the Gelato 33 actually was a seed that tested at 37% THC in Illinois, and I had actually bought the strain and then found a fucking seed in it. Grown the seed for 3 years, and then lost the genetic. And that's probably my worst stoner moment, because to lose that genetic was one of the most disappointing things I've ever done with cannabis. But I know it's in one of these 10 containers. But I'd have to grow it out, and then I'd have to figure out if it is that Gelato 33, because I did get a few seeds from it over the years. But yeah, I got a whole bunch of genetics to grow. I was thinking about getting into some new. We got some Polyman Kush F2. Got some Pauhua number 3. And this is a great strain. The interesting thing about this strain is it grows so fast. So the Pauhua it can literally grow 1 foot in 1 week. I've seen it do it in hydro. If you cross this with other strains, you're going to get super aggressive genetics out of it. So the Pauhua grows monster plants faster than I've ever seen any other plant grow. We got the wedding cake. And so I love wedding cake. I need to grow that out someday. And we got some more wedding cake. Oh, this is autoflower wedding cake. I don't know what that is. It actually has letters on it, but I can't read it. So we're going to say we don't know. But guys, I have not grown seeds literally in 3 years. I clone, find genetics I like, and then clone them, but I'm kind of worn out. Besides my blueberry muffin, I really like that. But lately I've kind of found out that a strain I've been growing for years is causing a lot of anxiety. It's great to make FECO with, but when I smoke it, it causes a lot of anxiety inside of myself because of the profile of the limonene in it. And I actually found that out by becoming friends with Alex of Mythic Genetics. He is really informative to me about terpenes and how they affect your mental health, because I'm not very aware of what terpenes do for your mental health. But Alex was a big help, and apparently if you smoke too much limonene, you can you can actually get more anxiety. Yeah, the mystery girl. I love mystery girls. Well, see, that was when I got into mushrooms, and then I got into mushrooms. My cannabis grow kind of became backdoor. That was when I thought I cloned the right plant. I didn't. Yeah, mini mystery beans. It's fun. I've done it before, and I've actually figured out which strain it was. I'm pretty close to that it was the right strain, but it's fun to grow it. Then you can look online based on pictures of how it looks, the smell, the taste, and you can really get down to what kind of strain it is once you actually smoke it. Mystery grows. That'd be interesting. Just have 10 seeds, just throw them all in there, and we have no idea what's what. But really, I want to grow it out and then clone it, and that's the way I like growing mother plants, so I can pull clones off of that and have multiple mother plants, and so then you can just clone whatever you want that time. But they're still talking about me losing the gorilla. What plant? What did I say it was? Can't even remember. Gelato 33. So the Gelato 33 genetic was really interesting. It was the highest one that they actually had, the highest THC. And at the time the Gelato 33 came out in Illinois, it had tested at the highest THC level of any cannabis strain ever. I think a strain has passed that now. I don't keep up with that, but at the time it was about 36.7% is what that Gelato 33 strain came up at with THC wise. And that would have been like 10 years ago. Whenever medical cannabis grew, it started in Illinois. It seems like it's 10 years ago, but I don't think it was. Yeah, limonene is mostly, it's heavily found in Ophelia. Jimmy, you can actually smell it so bad that the cannabis smells like lemon cleaner. So Ophelia has a shitload of it in it apparently. And I noticed it last week before I went to my doctor. I was smoking weed at night, going to bed and having like really bad anxiety late at night. And I haven't smoked Ophelia for a while. I just started smoking it a few weeks ago, and that's when I noticed it when I started smoking it again. So now I've quit. I still do smoke it because it does help you sleep, but you just can't smoke a lot of it. If you smoke more than 2 bowls of it, you're going to get anxiety. I want to grow a clone. What's going on, Elisa May? Ebb and flow. I love ebb and flow methods of hydroponics too. What's going on, Anthony Berry? Fellow FECO maker. And I found out that you made some really bomb-ass FECO. That was interesting, your method. You told me the other day, Anthony, how you did that. Yours is a lot more involved, I will say. So, but you're going after a lot more cannabinoids than I am, so it makes sense, and it's awesome, man. I love how people make their own medicine. You need the StreamYard link? I can put that out there. The one that actually gives you permission. I think it is Rasta. Is it StreamYard.facebook? I think I did that one right. We got 2 or 3 Facebook users in here. It's probably because I haven't gone live in 10 days. It has to reset some of you. But yeah, it's been a busy 10 days. I haven't been making medicine and ordering new species of mushrooms and getting everything ready for the season, really. That's it right there. Thanks, Roston. I wanted to get that hashtag of a hashtag going, the giveaway hashtag. Let's give away a bottle of Lion's Mane. Please, I would like today's giveaway. I want somebody who hasn't had Lion's Mane yet from me. Let's get this into somebody who hasn't tried it. I love seeing somebody win it who hasn't gotten it yet. And if you can enter the hashtag, you're welcome to win it. But I just invite you to give it to somebody else if you do win it and you have tried it before. I would love to have somebody win this bottle of Lion's Mane today that has never tried it. But I'm not going to get mad once somebody wins. It's your choice. So we'll go with the Lion's Mane hashtag. We are live. Start collecting. And we'll put that up here right there. What do you think of my background too? My nice salmon colored background. I feel like summer's coming, and my favorite colors apparently in the winter are black and blue. And once spring comes, they're more pinkish green. I noticed. So the weather and the sun must be making me feel a little bit upbeat. And apparently my favorite colors are changing too. So enter that hashtag at Lion's Mane. You're welcome, and we'll give this away. But man, yesterday was beautiful. I sat outside for at least 30 minutes, got some sunshine. And actually I sat out talking to Rasta in the studio yesterday. And I slept good last night. I guarantee you I slept good because I got some vitamin D finally. My body was like, "What? You haven't seen the sun in months," it seems like. Huh. You can't see people's comments? Well, I could see everybody's comments. It might be your device. Some people. Oh, you probably have a new one. Okay, Ross. It depends on the device. Some people, if you are watching me, I don't know if you need another device to read the comments. But everybody's comments are coming through just fine. Thank you. I'm on Dan Bair's page. I think that's where, let's see where everybody's at. Yeah, we got 16 on my page. We got 29 people in the house. Thank you all for joining me today. But let's try this mug here. I'll bring myself up a little bigger. It's a coffee mug you smoke out of. You think I should try it? Smoke out of it right now? All right, I'll do that. We can get some fresh roster stuff, and I actually just harvested a blueberry muffin plant, and it's dry, and I get to cut it up. It's not very big. My lights are going out, and my cannabis is paying for it, and I had 5 lights. 2 of them have completely gone out now, and I'm down to 3, and who knows when those will start failing. So due for new lights here in a couple months, which I'm planning on getting. But so it's not. I'm getting good plants, but I'm not growing big plants. So that's the only issue with not having bigger lights. So awesome to smoke out of. There's no coffee in it. And I got my coffee here. I don't got much left. All right. The only thing I'm worried about is the big hole and stuff falling through. I mean, look how big the hole they leave. But I do have a screen I could use, or I could just put a flower bud on top. That's the best thing to do. And then you can clog the hole with a little bit of flour. Then, because this weed's kind of crispy, just because we're in the winter still and everything's all dry. So your weed's crispy, fall through a small hole. Yeah, that worked perfect. Now we got all the crispy weed on top, and we got a little bit of bud on the top to cover the hole. Let's try a new strains blueberry fuck it. That's what it's called, blueberry fuck it. The blueberry muffin I have is the Humboldt one, the Humboldt blueberry muffin. I got a clone of it once, but the blueberry muffin by Humboldt's bomb. But I mean, there's a reason it's $120 in seeds, because it is a phenomenal strain, but you pay for it. But it's called blueberry fucking Anthony. See, that's the problem. The blueberry muffin does not produce a lot of trim. So right now I am out of blueberry muffin, and I don't know when I may have it again. But I am looking for a new people's trim. I will pay blueberry muffin, like a pound of blueberry muffin would sell for probably 125 to 150 pounds. That's upper level. Some of your other strains would be at $75 a pound. Really, the blueberry muffin just does not produce a lot of trim, period, no matter where you grow it. There are other strains that do produce a lot more trim. So yeah, I'm looking to buy people's trim. I'll pay you by the pound. If you have too much excess, if you just need a little for your own, then give me a holler. If you're within an hour or two from me, I'll definitely consider it. I'll drive to you, because at one point I'm going to run out here. I'm not going to have any more trim left within a couple more weeks probably. And then I won't be able to have some of my products, but I think I will have the issue fixed by then. I have to talk to a few people about purchasing some trim from them. Huge mushroom factory in Missouri. There's a mushroom factory in Missouri? What do they make there? You mean a mushroom farm? And if it's a mushroom farm, where are they at? I'm not very familiar with where other companies are. Just had Friday the 13th. We did? That's why I had it scroll at the bottom. I know I have a lot of new people in here. I'm actually a veteran-owned herbal medicine gourmet mushroom supply company out of Quincy, Illinois. I'm literally 3 minutes away from Missouri, so I'm right on the border. I'm 2 hours north of St. Louis and about 2 hours west of Springfield, Illinois. So, a town of about 42,000 people. Not much to do here, and I'm the only mushroom company within 30 minutes. There is another company up north of me, but they're into more homesteading. They do a lot of other products besides just mushroom. But all right, I feel like this is going to be. I have no idea how to smoke out of this, but I got to find the carb. There's the carb. I got my finger on the carb. So I'm assuming you just light it and hit it like a bowl out of the hole up here. All right, guys. Cheers. That's not bad. That's pretty smooth. And that is made out of, that's ceramic, correct? This is made out of ceramic. It smelled a little stale, but it's probably because the first hit out of it. You got to build that resin up. So, Macy, how easy are these to clean? I'm assuming you can just run alcohol through here and clean it. But man, that's talent. The fact that somebody made that, like kind of by hand, it looks like it was by hand, is pretty amazing. What's going on, Alex? Cheers. Just smoking out of my new coffee bowl that I haven't smoked out of yet. We got 31 people in the house, and I haven't even gone downstairs yet, guys. Thank you for joining me. And don't forget to hit those reaction buttons. Share out to your friends. It really helps my business, and it's been really helpful the last 30 days. I've had phenomenal sales, and I've had a lot of good feedback. I've been helping a lot of people, and I feel like everything's working out the way I had planned it to. Now I just need to grow more mushrooms. And that is an issue I'm dealing with right now. I made a mistake last year and started too late, and then I had some contamination issues basically because I waited too late. So we're dealing with that. I'm learning. Next year will be better, and that's how business is. You live and learn, and they make things better for the next season. So But I'm definitely losing money on the farmer's market in Quincy by not having enough mushrooms. And I constantly get people, asking when I have mushrooms. And then when I do have them, I brought 3 pounds with me Saturday, and they were gone in 15 minutes. And it's my own fault. I'm losing money myself, but it's an expensive thing to learn that you could have, when you lose money, of money you could have had in sales. But that's the way mushroom farming is not a forgiving job industry to get in. I have discussions with people at the market all the time about how they tried to grow mushrooms and they tried again and they tried again and then they gave up. It's not easy to get into, and I have to remember that. But we're gonna have 5 or 6 species here, probably within a month. Some new mushrooms. We're gonna have some pink oysters, some lion's mane, some blue oysters, some tarragon oysters, and what was the other? Golden oysters. And we'll also have our shiitakes as well. And we're gonna start to improve at getting more grown. So I will also be hiring somebody this spring. You would have to live, I guess, close to Quincy. I'm looking for somebody to work on Sundays to help me do everything. So it'll be a part-time job, just 1 day a week. And I'll pay you in cash or with benefits of medicine that I make, or stuff like that. But basically, I need somebody on Sundays once I start my new job. And we're going to be making everything that I sell. We'll be making on Sunday that gets sold on my website or at the farmers market the next Saturday. So my main job, I work for a roofing company. I am the production supervisor for Right Rate Roofing in Quincy, actually in New London, Missouri, just they're like 30 minutes away from me. I started a new position this spring. And I'll be working basically from 7 till 6 at night. 7 a.m. till 5 or 6 at night, some days earlier. But I basically make sure that roofs go on correctly. I communicate with the customers. I make sure that the crews put the roof on correctly and document all that. And that's my new position that I have that I'll start probably within a month. So I'm going to be a busy guy. So I'm going to be coming home at night and then doing, everything else for the mushroom company, which doesn't require a full-time job yet. And that's why I want to hire somebody so then I can just do everything for the company on one day. And that was eventually what I wanted to do anyway from the get-go. I was going to hire somebody to run the mushroom business. And especially when I have a storefront and everything else, I will have that employee will then be full-time if we ever get to that point, which I will. And I'd still love to be working for this roofing company. I enjoy. I came into a position that with a guy who's a really good guy, a really good boss, and I really don't want to lose that position, even if however successful my mushroom business is. Because that job allows me to invest into my mushroom business. So I can't. The money I make at the mushroom business isn't a full-time income yet, but it's halfway there. And we are growing pretty fast now, and I'm really proud of that. So I imagine in a year it'll be a much different outlook, even more. So I appreciate it. Smoking mug. Yeah, it got me baked. Did you send me a friend request, Susan? I don't see any friend requests. Ceramic. Well, thank you, Shannon. I appreciate it. I actually do think I have a friend who will probably help me on Sunday, and I guess I'll just have to ask her and see. But a lot of it will be we'll be making soup. We'll be making FECO. We'll be making my elderberry syrup. My lion's mane, and I mean everything that I do, I will teach, and that'll allow me to do time in my garden because I actually need to do time in my lab, my garden. While somebody else does all that. So eventually, I'm gonna have a new lab, and then when I do my lives in the lab, it's gonna be awesome. I'm actually pretty excited about when that happens, which will happen soon. Like I said, I have to start the new position to actually earn more money in order to fund the mushroom business, which I want to do some remodels in the grow room and then my lab. And that's going to require a few $1,000s. So looking forward to those changes and when they happen and how much easier it'll make everything as well once I have a full-fledged lab that's actually a room and not a tent. And it's gonna quadruple the size of my current lab and allow me to do things that I can't do right now. So that's gonna be awesome. Can't find me. No, it's a public profile. I don't know that. Are you on? Shouldn't have to add me to view me. It's a public profile. You can also follow me, but should be viewable. Got 27 people in the giveaway. We're live over on Instagram with absolutely nobody watching over there, but I tried anyway. We got 29 people watching on Facebook, but figured I'd go on the Instagram and the YouTube, see, but YouTube never gets anybody either. 0 people on YouTube. Good day to you, Kathleen. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Diana. I appreciate it. Heck yeah. Actually, I need to contact a guy. When I actually started my business, I had a previous mushroom farmer who actually had a mushroom company in my town, but he retired. He quit mushroom farming in 2016, and he bought an apple orchard, he said, in Missouri. He went into got into apple trees instead of mushroom farming. But he was telling me that he would meet with me and he would help me. And I never took advantage of that because I guess I'm stubborn and I like to learn and make mistakes of my own. But I am to a point now where he would definitely come in handy, and I need to make contact with him because he lives 30 minutes from me. He said he would meet with me. He would actually show me better ways to run the mushroom farm and stuff. And he basically said the sky's the limit with how much money you can make from mushroom farming. So it'll be interesting to talk to him and get some advice. I guess I don't like getting advice at the beginning because I like my own ideas to make my own mistakes. Sometimes I wonder if I would have gotten somebody's advice, if maybe I would have never made my mushroom soup. I made the mushroom soup because of the fact that you can't sell. I wasn't selling mushrooms. So I wasn't selling mushrooms because I wasn't selling them at the farmer's market. So I had to do something with them. So I made a mushroom soup. So it was kind of like my own failure made to development of another product, and it all worked out really well. I've sold well over 350 jars of that mushroom soup now. What's going on, Wayne Cruz? Thank you for joining me, buddy. Across the rhino in the house. I hate this song. It has this long stretch at the end where it's silent. And I finally found out why I was getting copyrighted on my video. So if you guys get some of your, which I've given some people out there advice to get download free music on Pixabay, I think that's what it's called. But it allows you to download free sounds, music, and other things that are copyright free. But if you look at when you download it, there's this little tag next to it that says that it's tracked by Google, and they only allow you a certain amount of hours of using the music. So now Google has a tracker that's literally tracking music, how many hours it's spent and played on whatever you use it for. And I kept getting hit with copyrights, even though it kept telling me the music I was downloading is copyright free, but it's not entirely true. You're only allowed at some kind of a certain time limit. So now that I know what that symbol means on Pixabay, I avoid those ones that are tracked by Google and are more copyright free. But damn, they have that kind of technology now, Google now, that they can literally track how long you're playing a song, a profile or anything like that in order to copyright infringement. It's not Facebook, it's Google, guys. But cheers, we got some more of that, some of that stuff that Ross just sent me. I forgot the name of it again because he keeps telling me the name when I'm stoned. Mythic Genetics. Ross will help me out here. Something punch. Cheers. Great fuck. All right, I'll remember it now. The third time I've told something, I always remember it. That's really really the worst character flaw that I have is I really am bad with names. I went on a date once with a girl named Jaden, and I had to ask her name literally 8 or 9 times. It was actually pretty embarrassing, but it was the name Jaden. It just didn't work with my brain correctly. Man, it's not my fault. I guess it's just the way my brain works. Some section of my brain that remembers names does not remember names very well. And that was before I even smoked weed, really, when I couldn't remember names. So I can't blame it on weed, because even when I was younger, I was horrible at it. But usually after 3 or 4 times, if you telling me your name, I will remember it. But you guys, go check out Mythic Genetics for sure. Look at these. Look at that strain name. I mean, doesn't the strain name just make you want it? Peanut butter and apples, frostbolt and apple slaps. Mythic Genetics. As we were talking about, as I'm smoking some of his great funk. At least I'm not the only one. I can't remember names either. Smoke, don't choke. Hey, at least I'm not dying. That was actually a pretty smooth hit. Stuff's pretty smooth. The only thing complaining is it's a little crispy, but that's because we're in the middle of winter. It is really hard to keep your weed at a dry level. You have to keep it in like a cure bag for 30 days and not open it. And by that time, I smoke it all anyway. Wonder why that is. I'm sure there's some portion of our brain where really intelligent people just are really bad at names, because maybe we spend a lot more of our other energy on this other section of our brain, and then we just avoid the names, the name part of our brain. I'm like, I'm not stupid. Why can't I remember people's names? Like, I'm not stupid, and then it happens. And I'm like, I feel stupid when it happens. I also have another thing that happens. I had a speech impediment when I was younger, and for like 4 or 5 years, I had to see a speech specialist because I couldn't pronounce my S's correctly. And then I also have a little bit of words. When I read a word, sometimes the word will appear as another word, and I'll say it the incorrect way, reread it again, and then it looks like the word just changes in front of me, and it's a different word. And it's really rare that happens, but it does happen. Or another word that's not there appears, and I'll read it wrong, I guess, in my brain. I get moisture packs. Yeah, those help too. See, I do a combination of moisture packs, Grove bags. I have a Grove bag here. Moisture packs I think the moisture packs should only be used for the first 2 weeks, and then you should remove them. because if you leave them longer than that, they do seem to take terpenes out. And that's just from my experience, I think, what I've seen when I've used them. But they do work great if you're looking like the first 2 weeks of curing. But the long term, the cure bags work really good. Because I have left those packs in marijuana for like 2 months, and I opened the marijuana bag up, and there was no odor left. There was not any odor of the marijuana, so the moisture pack had sucked away a terpene that was giving away that odor. You know, as they say, the terpene suckers is sometimes what they call the moisture packs. One thing is, I do remember how I like this bowl. Strain names. Yeah, that's what I always thought was the type of dyslexia. Can't read words right sometimes. It happens. All right, we're gonna smoke one more bowl here, and then we're gonna go make a mushroom bag. And I got to make 3 of them. I already got all the ingredients pretty much ready. But I make mushroom bags. I make all my own ingredients, and I have to make some FECO too today. But what I have to do, why I make the mushroom bags first, is because then I have to come to the kitchen and sterilize the mushroom bags, kill any germs before I actually inoculate it with other mushrooms. And, we're also going to make some grain. I colonize my own grain, which means basically mushrooms, the way they grow is they start in the mycelium form, and the mycelium is that white looking thready mold that you kind of see, and you colonize it in that, and then you colonize it finally in its final substrate, and it basically forces it to grow mushrooms. So it's kind of complicated. That's why I have an hour and a half long class that I have in 2 months, and I can't really explain it in 5 minutes of how to grow mushrooms, but I can kind of give you a clue today. But yeah, I will have more information about that. I'm going to Macomb, Illinois, Western Illinois Gardener's Palette event, and I will be one of the speakers teaching how to grow mushrooms at home and how to cook mushrooms at home. You're near that area, go check it out. I'll have more when sign up happens. I believe the sign up fee is $30. And I'll try to be doing it live this year. I tried it last year and it didn't turn out well. But I have a better device, and I have StreamYard now that I didn't have last year. So I'll try to stream the event live to Facebook, and we'll get you in on how to grow mushrooms and how to cook mushrooms. So I look forward to that. I'm excited about that opportunity, and that the fact that they trusted and asked me to teach a class is awesome. So fortunately, we won't be able to smoke any cannabis there. It is on a public university, I believe. And I get my own vendor booth too, so it's awesome. There's basically like a big vendor event. Everybody who teaches the class gets to have a booth, and then they have a big lunch where anybody who had a class paid to get the class comes in and tours and has lunch. It's open to the public. So there's about 200 or 300 people that come through there that are really into horticulture and everything and gardening and stuff. So really good people to customers that I'd like to meet. So it's a good opportunity to get my brand out there, as well as teach people about how to grow mushrooms, which that was the intention anyway. If you teach them how to grow, they'll come back to you and buy the products it takes to grow. So in essence, that's exactly what I was told by a previous mushroom company guy owner. He said, once you educate people, how to grow mushrooms, they'll come back to you and buy everything needed to grow those mushrooms. And you basically have a customer, for life. So that's why it's really important to, educate people that you can actually grow mushrooms at home too. So cheers. Still got 32 people in here. I appreciate every one of you. Don't forget to hit that Lion's Mane hashtag, and we're going to give away 60 caps of Lion's Mane 500 milligram capsules. I really, really love to see somebody new get it tonight. So let's manifest that somebody tonight gets this bottle of Lion's Mane and it makes their life better. So I've already I love giving it away because I already gave a bottle away the other day in Ohio 420. And I think it was Mike Rawlings telling me how much it made his day better. So it's awesome, getting this in the hands of people who would otherwise not ever try it, and then try it and then have very profound results. Because otherwise, a lot of people you don't know unless you try it, and then once you try it, you're like, wow, this stuff really works, and you realize that $18 a month really isn't much to feel how much to make you how much better it makes you feel. Sorry, I'm trying to get my words right. But, how much better it makes you feel for just $18 a month. And that really is not that much to feel a lot better in your stomach and in your brain and everything in between. There you go, Esteban. There you go. As again, I do sell it on my website. There is the website right there, greatrivermushrooms.com. You can order Lion's Mane. I usually ship out next days. I usually get it about 2 to 4 days. And it is about $18 to ship one bottle of Lion's Mane. And that's pretty much on with anything else you can find on Amazon. I try to stay pretty competitive with their prices. And if you buy from me, you're obviously helping a small business. So you may say $1 or $2 on Amazon, but you're not going to help a small business like me. So other than that, my medicine is very strong. It is exactly what it is. And you're going to get really good customer service when you make a purchase as well. So. Heck yeah, Baron. Yeah, they're Lion's Mane. So Lion's Mane is it's a neurotropic mushroom. I got 36 people in here. I might as well find that video, because that video on YouTube kind of explains everything. Let me open it up real quick. 1 minute video really explains what Lion's Mane is and what it does. So better than I can in a short period of time. Just got to find it real quick. Oh, but there we go. Let me bring it up real quick. Stop that screen. And we'll bring that up real quick and play that video. Let me bring it up to a bigger screen here. There you go. I'll play that real quick. We'll really explain to you what Lion's Mane does for everybody watching who might not understand. So here you go. Play it real quick.
Lion's Mane mushroom benefits. Support your brain health, boost your focus and memory, and improve your mood with this nootropic shroom. Brain health. Lion's Mane mushroom stimulates nerve growth factor, NGF, and brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, which jumpstart the production of new cells, strengthen existing ones, and increase brain plasticity. Alleviate symptoms of neurodegenerative diseases. Lion's Mane mushroom improves cognitive function, protects against the effects of Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, and reduces inflammation. It provides your body with antioxidants. Antioxidants help you make more BDNF and neutralize free radicals. Free radicals cause inflammation and damage to your brain cells. Improves mood and focus. Lion's Mane mushroom reduces depression and anxiety. It promotes learning, memory, and attention. It also improves blood flow, which brings more oxygen to your noggin. How to take it. It tastes like fishy dirt, so it doesn't mix well with other foods or drinks. Instead, try it in capsule, extract, or powder form, but buyer beware. Make sure the company discloses how much active compound versus filler you're getting. Learn more at blog.bullet.
Yeah, and we use we don't use any fillers in ours. It is 100% Lion's Mane mushroom. So make sure that, like they said, make sure you know that. We do not put any fillers in ours. Ours is 100% mushroom powder. So just so you know that too. Let me bring back that hashtag. And let me bring back up me. There we go. Yeah, that's a good explanation. I like that video because it always explains it well. Apparently, it does help. It helps treat ulcers too. It helps reduce the cholesterol. It helps gastrointestinal issues. It basically helps. It affects the bacteria in your gut, and then it affects kind of the connection between your gut and your brain, which is why it helps with depression and anxiety, because our gut is actually where a majority of our serotonin is made. And when your gut is kind of out of whack, your serotonin levels are not correct. From what I have seen, that's what it seems like it affects a lot. That's why it affects your mood. That's why I've seen it affect people who have gastrointestinal issues, because it seems to help regulate the gut a lot. And someday I'll have another episode, and we'll actually have speakers on and everything, and I'll talk more about gut health, because I actually know a few people in my area who are very well known who love to talk about it as well. Gut health is where really your whole health is. So I believe that's why lion's mane has kind of a profound effect on people's moods. And I think somebody asked if I took autopay. And if you go to my website, you can select, you can pay with PayPal, you can select cash, or you can select pay through the system of using GoDaddy. But if you select cash, you can also pay through Venmo and PayPal or Cash App. So if you do select cash, just message me and I'll give you the Cash App or Venmo, and then I can make sure that your order is marked as paid. Yeah, magic mushrooms help as well, and I definitely do talk a lot about that. And I do want to have a future episode about magic mushrooms more. I made an episode a few years ago that I need to make again, because I kind of did poorly at making it. It's at the beginning of my podcasting years. So I want to make another episode about how to use magic mushrooms to heal your brain. I still use them, but I don't use them as much as I used to. So I'm more educated and talk about them now that I actually do using them. I'm kind of on a mission now to find happiness without having to use mushrooms, but I definitely I do use mushrooms to help me navigate to a point where I can, be happy without mushrooms. If you know what I mean. Thanks, appreciate it, Steve-O. Appreciate it. What's going on, Steve-O? Now, I've heard a lot about that. I don't have turkey tail yet, but it is a product that I love, that I probably will eventually get. I'm looking at getting more into coffees, and right now I'm doing my research on making my own coffee brand. And the brand of coffee that I want to make will actually have coffee in it with mushrooms. So I know a lot of other companies claim to have mushroom powder, coffee mushrooms that actually don't have coffee in it. But the product I want to make will actually have crystallized coffee in it. So it's basically just mix it in water and it'll be ready to make, but it'll be a lot, healthier choice than other coffees. And I'm looking at using an Arabica coffee, a more healthier bean. So doing all that research right now. I hope by, springtime, maybe I might have some sample products that I'll be selling of my own coffee brand. Fingers crossed. But I am now expediting I was going to make coffee probably in 2025, make my own coffee brand. But I've kind of expedited that along for the fact of how many times I get asked if I sell coffee, mushroom coffee. I'm losing an opportunity if I don't just take it now, or try to make my own brand now. So it'll be a lot of experimenting and stuff like that, and I'll have my own, pre-mixed coffee brand that'll have coffee in it and be a healthier choice, and see how that ends up. So thank you guys all for joining me. Big Cash App. That's fine, Star. So I usually see your order the minute you make an order on my website. It messages my phone and emails me. I don't ever miss it, and if it'll usually show not paid. And you're welcome to message me through the system that the GoDaddy uses. You can send messages to me through that, and that message comes straight to me as well, and I can message you back at Cash App. So even if you're not my Facebook friend, if you make an order on the GoDaddy site, you can message me through that, and it goes right to my phone, just like you would be sending a message to, my messenger. Yeah, it's a safe place to purchase too. The GoDaddy app has never had any issues with anybody having any payments or identity stolen, and I keep track of that because they would notify me if they were hacked and ever had people's identities stolen of this, people who pay through the systems. Did you vote for Barbie? Who voted for Barbie? What's up, Paul? How you doing? Did you know that Barbie was actually being called for movie of the year? I mean, I haven't seen it yet. That's great. That would be maybe movie of the year, but if it wins movie of the year, that's disappointing. I just thought it was funny that a movie like that was nominated for movie of the year, because it doesn't seem like a movie like that would be. But I'm not a judge who makes those choices. But cocoa coffee, that's something that I'll definitely be experimenting with. So I will be using different chocolates and cocoa, because, like I said, I want mushrooms. When you just put mushrooms in a water, they don't taste very good. So you kind of have to neutralize it with something sweet and maybe something bitter. So I'm trying to maybe use the coffee, hit them with a little bit of some bitterness, and then use the some kind of chocolate, like you say, cocoa, maybe to sweeten it a little bit. So I'll definitely be doing some experimenting. I'll probably have a couple different kinds as well. I'll probably have a cocoa mix and a regular coffee, because the cocoa mix would be really good to have with kids, because to have them maybe drink something that's healthy for them and has mushrooms in it and cocoa. So that would be interesting to make as well. But Diana, get back to me on that in about 3 months. I'll have more information, maybe even sooner, but it's definitely something I'm doing a lot of reading on. I'm watching some YouTube videos, doing my research of how, and I have a friend who is a coffee connoisseur. I need to contact her and ask her some more questions about coffee. Cookies and cream mixed best mushrooms. Interesting. Is your puppy's name's Barbie? I don't want to see what the puppy looks like. Puppy is a contest. My name is Barbie. Okay. That's a cool name for a puppy. I think that's the first time I ever heard a dog named Barbie. But it was the year of the Barbie. You just tag me and look at this. Let me see if I can refresh it and see it. You just tag me in it? Nope, that's not it. She was born when Barbie came out, and that works too. All right. Let's get one more bowl in here, and then we'll go downstairs and start making these mushroom bags so I can get that FECO rolling. And today I got a whole new process I'm trying to make to drain the FECO, because it's not easy to do. So let's see how that works today. But cheers, everybody. We got one more bowl here. Might as well finish it. And then we'll go show you some mushrooms. Who wants to go see some mushrooms? We got about 8 or 10 pounds of blue oysters growing right now. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. Cheers, everyone. Just got about 8 pounds of mushrooms growing a blue oyster. They're so pretty right now because of the cooler temps that we have in the spring and the fall. Cooler temps, usually lower 50s to mid 50s, allows the mushroom to grow more of a proper color. Just like in cannabis, you get like a purplish blue color in colder temps. Same with mushroom. The blue oyster gets a lot more deepest blue purple. When you get into the 60s and lower 70s, your blue oyster mushrooms will appear a lot more gray and ash color instead of the bluish purple. It does not. It doesn't affect the taste. It just affects the look. And when I sell at the market, I really want to make it look like a blue oyster. So, you want it to be bluer than gray. That is the same with any other mushroom as well. The golden oyster will appear more yellow. If it's cold, it'll have a little more whiter yellow. It's into a warmer environment. Pink oyster actually likes warmer temps. When it actually gets colder, it actually turns a little lighter pink, and warmer mid 70s, which is why it likes a tropical environment. It gets to a brighter pink. So it's interesting how different colors come out of the strain based on the temperature of the environment. But this time of the year, you'll get a lot more deeper, rich colors in your mushroom tent than you do during the summer when you're trying to keep it during the mid 90s and you're trying to keep your facility cooler. Especially someone like me, I definitely need to insulate areas better, which I will do. And I have an old house, so you're gonna have drafts and cold areas. Right now it's 57 degrees in my basement, so not bad, reasonable. Use the fruit press and a restaurant oil filter. See, I have a fruit press too, which I think I'm gonna try to use today, but I haven't come up with a system to use the press to drain the FECO, but I think we'll try that today. So thank you for reminding me of that, Anthony. I feel like I need to meet you, Anthony. The more I hear and talk about you, the more I realize your brain's works like mine, because it sounds like we have similar devices. Restaurant oil filter. I don't have that, but I definitely use a fruit press. So I make CBD, CBG oil, and I use the fruit press because every ounce of CBD, CBG is worth about $60 to my company, and I was losing about 2 to 3 ounces because I couldn't squeeze it out. So I bought the fruit press, and I was able to get the extra 2 to 3 ounces out of the material, the flower material. Because when you're making very condensed oil, every ounce is a lot of profit when you're trying to make a living in company. So I actually put so much flour in my CBD CBG and wring it out that it comes out to 16 milligrams per milliliter, which is pretty strong. But I put as much as I can in the oil, as much as I can fit. Oh yeah, Stephanie, border blue healer with a shape of Bambi. Well, this makes me want to get another dog, but I'm not to that point yet. My life's about to get really busy, and I don't want to get a dog right when my life is busy, but I get to a point. I had a Doberman. He died it's been probably 3 years now since he passed away, and I haven't got a dog since. So. He was a 125-pound Doberman. He was huge. Husband's in Arkansas today, but it's pretty warm down south, I saw. Everybody's feeling a little bit warmer today. The screw press, huh? Oh, I know what you're talking about, screw press. For a minute there, I didn't know what you meant, but now I do. He's in Yellville at the moment. Hell yeah, Diana. Got some mushrooms. A Weimaraner. Oh, that's a dog. All right. talking about dogs and devices too, so sometimes I get confused. Some people are talking about dogs or some kind of device to use to make marijuana. A wee Moraner, did this sound like something that would make something? It's almost 420. All right, that sounds like a good plan. We'll smoke this bowl at 420, and then we'll head down to the dungeon, to the garden, and make these 3 bags. I'll show you guys some fucking pretty ass blue oyster mushrooms, because they're so pretty right now, and I want to take pictures of them all day and post them on social media. Like other people post pictures of their kids, other people post pictures of themselves, and I'm just over here posting pictures of my mushrooms, you know. So, you know, especially this time of year, like I said, when it's colder out, those mushrooms, they look so pretty because you get a lot more vibrant colors, and you can't get that in the middle of the summer, not unless you have a hell of a air conditioner unit, which I do, but it's really hard when it gets to around 100 degrees. Definitely hard to keep the temps down. I'd rather see mushrooms. Time to see the shrooms. I'm really excited about this tarragon mushroom that I got. Apparently, it was found in 2021 in a log near Newcastle Castle, and that would be near London, I think. And it's the only place on Earth that this mushroom has been found, and now it has kind of escaped the lab, as you would say. When one mycologist finds it, cultivates it, and starts cloning it, it goes on the market basically. And now we're 3 years deep to it being on the market, and I got a hold of it. I have it in my inventory now. It's called a tarragon mushroom, and apparently it's one of the rarest oyster mushrooms now on the market. So that'll be interesting when I start cultivating that. The interesting thing is apparently it's only grows on this one place on Earth, but from what I read, it's really easy to grow indoors. So I look forward to growing that and then getting that into my inventory. It looks like a blue oyster, but it has like this white creamy streaks through it, and more of a bluish purple, I guess you could say, what this mushroom looks like, the tarragon. But hell yeah, I'll be selling a mushroom that was found near a log near a castle. And now we escaped. Now we're growing it here in the middle of America, selling it at farmers markets. That's the way the world works now. All right, we're 2 minutes away from 420. Hell yeah. Got some of that bud there. Some good stuff, Rasta. There's some good stuff. Cheers, buddy. I was getting tired of smoking that Ophelia, getting anxiety. But you know what? I learned a lot in the last 2 weeks from smoking a certain strain of cannabis. Not cannabis strain, so. Cheers, Barry. Ohio 420 likes seeing mushrooms too. He told me that. He told me to send him all these pictures of mushrooms. And I was like, "What are you talking about, Ohio, Gabe?" And I'm like, "I don't know about this." No, I'm just kidding. Gabe didn't really say that. But I do tell him that I'm going to send him pictures of mushrooms just as a joke. But you can make jokes all day about mushrooms. Just because mushrooms, they look like other things in nature as well. Oh, Ohio 420 is here too. Look at that. Oh, that's funny. It's all good fun. There it is, 420 on my computer. Cheers. Cheers, everybody. those mythical ones. I think these are going to be the strain that I grow next. So we're going to grow these next. I'm going to start growing seeds again. I'm going to get my seed area back up and running. I used to have a dedicated part of my basement that to grow seeds back 3 years ago. And since then I've torn that down, but now it's time to bring it back. Start getting some of these seeds out that I've collected. So I'll count how many different genetics I have. Let's see. I'm not even sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I got 19 different genetics. I think it's time to grow one of them, don't you think? So I've collected 19 genetics over the last 5 or 6 years, either from seeds that I find and stuff that I buy from the dispensary, which is crazy. It's amazing how many times I pop seeds out of buds at the dispensary, phenomenal good buds that are from good breeders. A seed pops out, and it's like hitting the gold, because I've popped a lot of these seeds, grown them out, and they turn out to be phenomenal genetics. Sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you don't. But I've probably got 6 different genetics I popped out of dispensary weed, and the fact that my friend, I had a roommate at the time who was buying a lot of dispensary weed, and if he ever popped the seed, he gave it to me that he found any weed that he bought. So some of those seeds are really, really good genetics from seeds that were at the dispensary weed, but just have to grow them out, see what happens. I've never had one not turn out to be a good seed, because when they say these are from some of the, like, this is a good strain. This was good as smoke. Like, they sold out of this fast, but this stuff, if anybody ever had that Gorilla cheese, this some bomb ass weed, and it smelled really, really good. Get that. I remember exactly what it smelled like. But I do not know if that's what seed's in here. So this would have been from about 3 or 4 years ago. And if that is the seed in there, there's 3 seeds. Some strain that I found. So I don't know what it is. We got a random. That is a great variety. Send them my way. Josh. Definitely. Thank you very much for sending those too, man. Those will be some other ones I pop too. So I really want to get new lights, and I don't want to pop a bunch of seeds, but I think if I time it right now, I start popping seeds, I get new lights, and here in March, April, probably April, by the time I'm ready to go into flower, I'll have new lights. So my veg lights are fine. I have plenty of good veg lights. My flower lights are kind of dying down, and I only have so much room now. I only have half the room that I normally have because I have 3 lights that failed. And it's only a matter of time before the other 3 lights fail, because I bought them all at the same time. And they're all at the end of their life, the hours that they were supposed to last. 4 years. Yeah, it's grilled cheese. Man, if anybody has any grilled cheese genetics, I had a genetic called blue cheese. I found it in Miami. So I was on a cruise, and the port was in Miami, and I had a buddy who had a friend who he had in Miami who grew some weed. So the guy met us at our hotel, and he told us some of this stuff called blue cheese. Some of the greatest smelling weed I've ever had in my life. It smelled exactly like blue cheese, and I love blue cheese. But the fact that a weed strain smelled like that, it was a really, really good high. Some of the best relaxing weed I've ever smoked, and I've never seen anything close to that ever again. And it was a strain that I'll remember the rest of my life until I see it again, because you never forget that smell when you get those cheese odors on some of those strains. Joe Kelly, you've grown a lot of different stuff. Have you ever grown any cheese strains before? I think it's Clementine and Gorilla Glue 4. I think you're right. I think that's what it says on it. Good call. That is what it says. So you got Gorilla Glue and Clementine. Clementine is a really good strain, and then you got the Gorilla Glue. I know you have one of those strains, Joe, because I've smoked some of that before from you. That one time I met you. That was some of the best pressed rosin I've ever had, man. Found an ebb and flow citrus cheese, kept her from now on. Really cheesy. I love Clementine too. You know, I would go buy it from the dispensary because I see it there a lot if it was not fucking $70. You know, because I do see it at the dispensary and I'm like, man, I'm gonna go smoke some Clementine because I do love smoking it and I don't have any of that to grow, you know, so. But those prices, they just keep me from wanting to buy it. I even get a veteran discount and it's still expensive, you know. Yeah, you still grow Clementine and Gorilla? Hell yeah. I need to get that genetic from you there, Joe, because I definitely do not have any Clementine in these 19 different genetics I have. I know I don't have any Clementine. But the strain here, I can't read what it says. I need to sit here one night and get really high with a little microscope and look and see what it says because it still has about 7 letters on it. I just don't know what the letters are. Curly something. Curly? I don't know. I need to grow that wedding cake auto. I love wedding cake. I don't like growing autos, but I'll grow an auto if it's a wedding cake. I love that strain. I only don't like growing autos because you can't clone it. I'm like, I get to grow it once and then I never get to grow it again. That's disappointing, you know? I want to be able to grow it and then like tear a piece of the plant off and be able to grow it again if I like it. But Clementine is very nice, but every time it seeds, stuff, I don't see any bananas or anything. Are you trying to make it? Are you trying to breed it, Joe, with something else? I mean, obviously, if you're making it grow seeds, I'm assuming that you're breeding with it. Bringing back that UK Exodus cheese this year. Hell yeah, man. Really cheesy. Anybody else grow? What did I? Hold on a minute. Gotta go back. There it is. Oh, does anybody else use a deep water culture system? I always forget that word. That's what I'm going to show you guys today as well. Anybody, Joe Kelly, do you use a deep water culture system? I'm pretty sure you do. I have clone plants that are like 2 feet tall. They're not clones anymore. They're fucking monsters in a clone bucket. So today we're going to take those out and transplant them too. So I'm going to smoke the rest of the weed and let's get down there and do this. Do and veg, okay. Do and veg. Oh, I see your dog now there, Stephanie Collins. Nice. Oh, I wonder what it's doing, man. All right, cheers, everybody. Yeah, she is. For sure. For sure, Stephanie. Sorry. Have me coughing. All right. We got some mushroom bags I already have sitting. Basically, I use 2 ingredients to make mushroom bags. Soy hull and hardwood pellets. Those are really the 2 ingredients mixed with some water. And I'm kind of mix them in this container and then bag it up. So I've already had the soy hull sitting in hot water for a couple hours now, so they're going to be really soft. And I'm going to put those mix both the soy hull and the hardwood pellets together in this container. You want to make sure you get it all out. And I buy these soy pellets at a local feed place. And the soy hull pellet is basically the outside shell of a soybean. And they kind of remove it, and then it's discarded by like companies like ADM. It's not really sellable, and it doesn't have a lot of protein in it, like to feed the horses. So they sell very little of it. I can get it very cheap. I get 500 pounds of it for $80. So I buy it pretty cheap. The other stuff these are hardwood pellets that you buy for hardwood pellet stoves. And this has water in it as well. That was just sitting here with some hot water. We're gonna mix that in together. And we don't have to be very sterile when we do this because bags are gonna get sterilized in the pressure cooker. So any germs that get on it are gonna get killed. But I do stay a little bit sterile as well. So I do use a little bit of some Germ-X. So I'm going to set these buckets aside. We'll mix these all together here. We're going to mix the soy hulls and the hardwood pellets. And we actually have a cheat sheet back here that helps us when we need to make a certain amount of bags. So say we need to make 6 of our 4-pound bags. It tells me exactly how to mix. I have a different mix for our shiitake bags as well that has 80% hardwood pellets and more like a 20% soy hull. So some species of mushrooms like a lot less protein and more hardwood pellets. They just don't need as many nutrients. So as the shiitake, so this is my cheat sheet. This is how we first figure out everything. We have all of our nutrients, all of our things here. We have our grain, we have our soy hull, and we have our hardwood pellets. And so we have everything here, just scoop into buckets, weigh it out on our scale, and then put it into here and bag it all up, all in this area here. So just got to mix these together now. We just basically want it to be a 50-50 mix. We want it to be thoroughly mixed together with all the ingredients we have in here. And if you don't mix it very well, you're not going to get results. The mushrooms do require a very thorough mixture to grow through the medium. And this is something that I've been trying to work on to do better. And I can even put them on the ground here to kind of make it easier to see me. But eventually we'll buy a machine that will do this for me this spring. And we have room over here for the machine. And we'll eventually be able to mix this a lot easier. So we just want to make sure it's mixed pretty thoroughly, and we get a nice mix between the hardwood pellets. Everything's now, it's more like a soil now. It feels like soil mixed with sand now, basically what it feels like. And this is enough to make 3 4-pound bags. That's what we're going to make here. And 3 4-pound bags will end up growing me about 12 to 15 pounds of mushrooms over the next 2 months. So yeah, we'll show the mushrooms here in a minute, Doris. to bag these up. This actually goes really fast. I can usually do about 20 bags an hour, so 3 bags is pretty. I can do it in about 5 minutes. So now that we got all that pretty mixed, we're gonna bag it up. Just gonna wash our hands real quick. So now it goes into a special bag now that we actually have here at Great River Mushrooms. And these are the filter bags. We're going to put 4 pounds of substrate in here, fill it up. We actually have a whole thing down here, and I'll show it to you here. It'll be easier for you to see over here on how we bag this up here. So we have a little thing here. I actually will get something bigger once I do produce more bags. And I've actually got the instructions on how to make this one and put a couple of them here. So this works great for the production amount that we do here at Great River Mushrooms. So I put the bag in like that. I usually take another, get another bucket here. And we take the bucket and we do weigh out everything of our substrate here on the scale. Like I was showing earlier, we got a scale here. So we're going to weigh out 4 pounds of that. And we usually just use, well, I got to find all that there. Just keep 4 pounds in there. So we're just going to dump it right into that, as you can see over here. That makes one bag there. And we just do that 3 times now. When we put 3 bags in there, weigh out 4 pounds. And bag these up here. I will also say, if you ever do get into mushroom production, buy the good equipment. Don't go cheap. The scale that I have there is actually a crane scale. I have bought two cheap scales already that broke. And the third time I said fuck it and I spent the money and actually got something that's good. Buy good stuff if you're doing any kind of gardening. You won't regret, because you do get what you pay for. If you're buying something cheap, it's more than likely eventually going to break on you. Do that, dump that in there. Just going to make sure the bag does not fall over. If the bag falls over, you're going to lose everything in there. So I do a little shake halfway through, finish dump it, and then remove it. We got one more bag. One more bag here. And hopefully we get 3 4-pound bags here. That's what we're shooting for. Should get. And we got to shake the rest of it out here. We're just going to dump it. Just like the other one, we're dumping it in. Make sure the bag don't fall over. Just like like it did there, but I caught it. So that's why you usually pack it down, because otherwise it can fall over like that. But I caught it. That was a good catch. And then we're just going to bag them up here. You can see we have them up here. Then we're going to clothespin them now. Get 2 clothespins per bag. If we're going to go in the pressure cooker, we have to have a way to seal them. So, again, thank you guys all for joining. We still have 31 people in the house. And I'm not trying to ignore your comments. I was over there doing work. But thank you, Doris. We learned about mushrooms. What's going on, Becca? Little Peckers in the house. What's going on, Tag and Wayne? Don't forget to hit those like, reactions, share buttons, share out some friends. It really helps a small business like me and help people educate people too about mushrooms and herbal medicine, as I do both of them. And all we're going to do is we got a whole kind of system of folding here. So if you didn't see, I let all the air out of the bag. Lay that out flat with the filter side up. I'm going to do a fold underneath, and it's important that you fold underneath because later on it's going to be important when you actually use them in the lab. So you fold down, put 2 clothespins on it like that, and it's ready for the pressure cooker. Do the same thing with the other one, and you're actually pushing the substrate down. You want to squeeze it, a little bit tighter, because you're going to fit a lot of bags into a tight space. We want to make sure we get all that air out of there. We're going to get about 3 folds underneath and then 2 clothespins. And I kind of had to teach myself all this because there's no videos to watch of hey, this is how you fold your mushroom bag, or so a lot of this stuff was trial and error. I literally had to fuck up 50 of these bags before I think I ever did one right that made any sense. And so it's even the folding technique that I had here, I kind of had to make myself because you can mess up the other ways. If the bag blows open while it's in the pressure cooker, the ingredients can go everywhere. So you got to make sure it's sealed, and you got to make sure you use something that's not going to burn in the pressure cooker. And we'll show you how we do that. We take them up. So we have these carriers too. We use in our mushroom farm. Put our bags in here. This is how we carry them up to our upstairs. So we're going to set these aside now so we can bring them up. And we make our own grain as well. So I was going to do that real quick. We make our own grain. We do a pre-soak with our grain that takes about 5 minutes. We basically soak our grain in water, and I'll show you what our grain consists of here. So what you saw us just made is basically the substrate the mushrooms actually grow in. And I make those products myself in-house like you just saw, and I also make the bags that colonize the mushrooms. So basically we have this pot here, we have this bucket, and I have this net, this 5-gallon, it's got a screen in there, it's a bubble bag. So it has a filter bag at the bottom, and this filter is 190 micron. We're going to put this around the rim here so we can fill it up with our grain. And we're going to put our grain bag on the scale here, and we're going to weigh 12 pounds of grain out. So we do a 12-pound grain soak per recipe, as I call it. So we have our grain over here. It's in this tub here. We buy the 50-pound bag at a local grain store, and we're going to scoop out 10 pounds in here, put it into here, and weigh out 12 pounds. We put 12 pounds on this thing. So we'll do that right now. Scoop that. We have these big orange scoops. They're really helpful around the garden and use them to scoop this stuff up. So we're going to weigh out 12 pounds. That's one scoop is about 2.5 pounds. And you can see what this grain actually consists of here. You kind of see it, but it just looks. It's whole oats is what it's called. You can see the grain there. And I got some on my computer now. It's probably not going to come out. But but it's called whole oats, and that's what it looks like. And I buy it because it's affordable place. It's bought locally, and I don't have to pay for shipping it. We got 12 pounds in there now, about almost 12 and a half. There we got 12. We got 12 pounds of grain. Again, we have the instructions to do all that over here too, just in case I get memory problems and I start to forget. We also put gypsum and lime in it, and then we do a soak we're going to fill this whole bucket up with water now. So we're going to put a little bit of lime in here. And a little bit of some gypsum. Basically, we're not putting it inside the grain. The gypsum's going to go on the outside of the bag. We're just going to use it as a soak. And what the gypsum is going to do is add another ingredient to the nutrient. Like the grain will soak it up. So we're just going to put it on the outside of the bag. And that was a quarter cup of it. We just used a quarter cup. And then we have a quarter cup of lime. So we got a quarter cup of gypsum and a quarter cup of lime going on the outside of the bag. And now we're going to put this. We have a hose down here that shoots out scalding hot water. So we're gonna get that going. I'm gonna run the hose for a second because it shoots really hot water out. And we're gonna put really hot water into this bucket and soak all this grain in there. So we have a hot water hose down here. This is basically hooked up to our hot water hose in our house. And I have a brand new hot water heater that pumps out some pretty hot water. So we're gonna put the hose on the outside of the bag because we want that grain, we want the gypsum and the lime to break up in there. And we're basically going to fill this bucket up till it's 3/4 of the way full of water. And then we're going to seal the bag, and then we're going to put a lid on top of it, and we're going to soak it probably. We're going to check it later on tonight. I think maybe I'm going to go with an 8-hour soak. Maybe I'll just do it till the morning and do maybe a 12-hour soak. But basically, the grain's going to soak up all this moisture, this water in here. The hot water is going to help to speed up the process of this happening. You can use boiling water too. You can see the steam coming out of here. It's nearly boiling. I do not recommend touching it. So we just put 18 pounds of water in there, relatively 2 gallons. And we still have it on our scale here. So now we're going to seal that bag up. You can see it's got a little thing on top. And we're going to get a lid for it. Get that lid. You kind of want to hold that heat in there. So that's why I put the lid on. This is the lid that actually seals on top of this bucket. And set it aside for a couple hours. Well, 8 to 12 hours is what I would recommend. And we'll set this stuff aside. Let's show you some mushrooms now. Gotta clean this up a little bit. Our work table gets dirty pretty fast. This is our, what I call Great River Mushrooms activity table. This is where we do the majority of everything that involves inside the garden. We do on this table down here. There you can see it here. So we try to keep it pretty clean. And we got some crud cutter and some alcohol that we clean it with. All right, we're going into to show you some mushrooms. The humidifier just turned on, you can see it. Look at that. Look at that beautiful flush. Phenomenal looking mushroom. Give me a like or love reaction for that mushroom, guys. Look at that beauty. I wish I could get the texture of the blue in more because it's so purplish blue. And maybe the lighting I can get a little better right there. But that thing it's so pretty. It's the color you want a blue oyster to look like. It's the textbook color. So it's a proud little mushroom there. Let's hit those likes, reacts, and shares. Man, just for that mushroom right there, guys. Isn't that just a beauty? I get excited about mushrooms. So we got some, these are my 4-pound bags, but that's like the ones you just saw me make. This is what it produces at the end of the day after I colonize it, grow it out. We also have some old bags over there that are still producing some mushrooms, but not much. And then we have our new bags over here. So that mushroom is pretty much ready to pick. I'm probably going to pick it after this live is over. We also have some growing over here. Look at these big old clusters. Look at that beauty. So that's my hand size right here. You can see how big this is. So this right here is probably about a 2.5, 3-pound cluster right here. We got another one down here that grew, and then it kind of half kind of aborted, and that just shows me that I have a little bit of inconsistency of air movement in here, and I need another fan, and I know that. So if you get a little bit of inconsistency in air movement, you can have what we call an abort, and an abort is when a mushroom starts growing and then it stops growing. It'll basically shoot up a mushroom and then it just stops growing and it usually starts to die. And that is from it had the right environments to begin with, but it didn't have enough the environment to finish growing as a mushroom. So it basically just aborts itself and dies. And in mushroom growing, we call it an abort. So we have some other mushroom bags, and I know these all look funky, but these mushrooms just came in here. They were actually fruiting in the bags. They'll kind of open up here in the next few days because I literally just put them in there this morning. But I had that happen sometimes, and they'll end up looking like these. These back here end up looking not really good. But my mushroom shiitakes were fruiting way too early, and I still don't know why. I'm going to guess it's the cold temps. But my mushroom blocks were fruiting like 2 weeks early than they're supposed to. So that's another learning experience. Cold temperatures apparently make shiitakes fruit earlier. The species that I have. So, hey, thanks, Susan. Welcome back. What's going on, Star? Chad, Jeremy, what's going on? How you doing? Hope everything's well with your health, Jeremy. Thank you, Star. Are they lion's mane? I don't have any lion's mane yet, but I do grow them. Like I said, I had some issues with production this year for the fact I had some issues with some of the mushrooms contaminating. So I have blue oysters. I had to buy I just bought new lion's mane and 3 other species of mushrooms. So basically what happens if you keep a strain around too long and you don't colonize it, it'll eventually die and get contaminated. That happened. So I had to buy a new species as a mushroom farmer, you can buy species online from other farmers who basically produce it for other commercial farmers like me. I buy it in bulk and get shipped to me, and then I colonize that and start the new species again. So lesson learned. Next winter, we're actually going to have a lot cleaner facility than we have on the other side. We're actually going to have a lab with a bedroom, so we're going to have a lot cleaner environment. We're going to have a lot better tools in there to not let that happen next year. So that is the reason why I've kind of delayed on my mushroom production. But I have been selling a lot of herbal medicine, guys, and that's why it's amazing. I barely sold any mushrooms last month, and we had a record month at Great River Mushrooms and Herbal with the amount of herbal medicine we sold, the amount of just, the lion's mane, the FECO, the CBD, CPG, the elderberry syrup, my soup. It was just the cultivation of a lot of things, and it's just awesome to see that happening without me even growing any mushrooms yet. I got water on my laptop. Let me wipe it off. I'm still there, but my mouse quit moving. Hopefully it's not because I got water in it. I got an external mouse upstairs. But yeah, that's it. And it's making humidity right now. Yeah, let me go get my other mouse real quick. I got another mouse so I can see what There we go. Now I'm back. I don't know if I broke my mouse on my keypad, but it's not working. But I do have another mouse, so it works fine there. So I forget when I go into here, these things drip water, and sometimes they drip on my laptop. If I bring my laptop in there, and it dripped right on my mouse pad. Oops. Now you can see the whole humidity system kind of going here. You got humidity coming out of here. This whole tent will fill up with humidity. We'll kind of shut this off here so you can see half of it fill up. So you can see this thing actually makes so much humidity, it actually spills out of the machine here. So it's coming out of the machine here. There is an atomizer in here, and it's really hard to show you because if I open it up, the whole machine will kind of fall apart. But an atomizer is basically, it's kind of hard to explain, but it uses electricity in this little magnetic disc kind of thing, and it vibrates and creates steam, and it creates a really, really, really fine mist. You usually see it in ponds or like fake ponds that produce steam, or Halloween decorations where fog's needed. So you can see it produces this really fine mist fog that you can see back here. And mushrooms really, really like a fine mist. So what happens is the mushrooms, this fine mist lands on the mushrooms. Then we have a fan that goes on back here, pulls all the air out for 20 minutes, and then sucks, all the moisture out of the air. So the moisture drops and goes up. And then when the moisture drops, it evaporates off the mushroom. And that's basically how mushrooms, they really like that. They like moisture falling on them and then evaporating. Moisture falling on them and then evaporating. That constant exchange is really what a mushroom really, really likes. Because they like fresh oxygen, but they don't produce fresh oxygen. They produce CO2, and when CO2 gets too heavy, they actually don't grow correctly. So you'll get irregularities in the mushroom production. So you might see part of the mushroom growing differently in other sections, and that's because it's too heavy of CO2 in one area. And when you get too heavy of an area of CO2, the mushroom will suffer. So that's why it's important, just like humans, if we sit in our own CO2, we'll actually get sick. The same thing happens with a mushroom. So that mushroom needs to have fresh oxygen, which is what that exhaust fan on the other side here does. So yeah, it's a big atomizer. Like if you bought that humidifier without building it yourself, it would be easily $1,000. But I built it for about $300, $250. And I bought, this is the third atomizer I've bought, so it's been kind of costly too, because I've spent $500 on atomizers now. They're about $120 to $150 a pop. It just went out on last month, and it fucked up a lot of my mushroom production too. So that was another issue I dealt with that kind of set me back a few weeks. But shit happens, you learn from it, and you move on and do things better. So look at these beautiful blue oyster mushrooms growing in here. We got 3 different. We got some elm oysters pinning as well, and they grow a little bit slower, but they're going to be ready for the market this weekend, hopefully. And we're going to have blue oysters and elm oysters at the farmers market in Quincy, Illinois. So that'll be great. So we have a CO2 monitor up here, but I'm just putting this in here as an experiment. We're obviously not going to get CO2 levels that high. As a lot of people don't know, CO2 is a heavy gas. It sits low on the ground. So if I had the monitor on the ground, it'd get all wet and ruin it. But it says that there's low CO2 here at the ceiling. But we do use this CO2 level. We do it we experiment with this. This thing's also, it's pretty cool to have. It actually is an active monitor of CO2 in the area. It has a sensor built into it. It's pretty accurate because I've used it next to other scales, and I like it. So I put it in different areas of my grow facility and check out CO2 levels for a while. But I don't like to put it low in here because the humidity will land on it and kind of ruin it. Yeah, it's moisture in the air. You can see it fogging up really good down there now. See that? So you can't even see the light down there now. So that's how much it happens. Every hour it'll do this. So you can see right now it's just running constantly because it's low in the monitor. So these are all the machines back here that run all the equipment. We have our atomizer device. This is the power supply for the atomizer, and it's required. You can see it runs down here, and then the other end runs into the grow room. So this needs to be left outside because humidity would obviously ruin this equipment. We also have a device here that monitors our humidity level, and we have it set at 75.8% humidity right now. And then we have our timers up here, so everything is run off of timers. 12-hour light on and off. Light is not very important, but it just gives the mushroom direction to grow in. They'll grow in darkness because if you remember, mushrooms do not grow off of photosynthesis. They are just like us. They require nutrients. They eat the nutrients and then they grow. So people need to remember that when mushrooms grow, they're not photosynthesis, requirements with mushrooms. So they would literally grow in a dark place. But having a light source gives them a direction to kind of grow in. They're like, okay, I see the light. I'm going to grow up. But most of the time they know what gravity is. They know what up is. They're way more intelligent than we give them credit for. But yeah, we have another monitor here too, and then we have another external fan that we can use here. This goes under my porch, and eventually we will hook this back up. I don't have it on right now. We got a 4-inch fan back here. This is what runs to the atomizer, basically pushing in filtered air that runs from the other side of the basement. Pushes the filtered air in through the humidifier, so you're also getting in fresh air that way. And I want to get it from a different area of the basement so we can bring in different air, because we're trying to move fresh oxygen from other areas of the basement to other areas where it can be used by the mushroom. As I said before, mushrooms require oxygen to grow, and then they expel CO2. Heavy CO2 presence, it will choke them out just like it does a human being. So it's really important to just get that yin and yang of oxygen, CO2, because they require both, but too much of one, too much of the CO2, I should say, can really not be good for their growth. Gravity. Mushrooms know gravity. Well, they for sure do. And sometimes these bags, which I should push those in a little bit, get so heavy that they fall off the shelves. And this one's already starting to. So if I do lay them too close to the edge and then they start to grow, I've come in here and they'll be on the floor and they'll be half destroyed because their dumbass got too heavy. So if I do get them too close to the edge, I make sure they're double stacked, because if they're double stacked, the mushroom won't get heavy enough to fall off. So that's a big flush. You can get 4-pound flushes, and a 4-pound flush will easily bring the bag over, because it basically distributes the weight over the bag and over the shelf. So, it's leaning out, it'll fall over. So dang mushrooms. But yeah, really, this is what how you commercialize your mushroom production. This is a 5x10 tent. This allows me to keep that 75% humidity in a commercial. And this atomizer stays clean by itself. Really, I have to clean it out like once every 2 months. But the way that I clean this tent out is I have that thing's full of bleach water, and basically I'll put all my mushroom bags up as high as I can, and then I'll soak everything with bleach water in here, and then clean it out with a hot water hose. And I do the same thing with this tank, and I kind of just blow the bleach on top of it. I clean it out with hot water, but it fills up itself. It has its own water supply up here. I can see it if I look at it. It has a water supply that comes in and then feeds into the device, so I don't have to fill it up with water. It automatically fills up itself. It has just the same way a toilet works. It has a toilet device. I can't remember what it's actually called, but it'll basically, when the water level drops, the plunger in there drops, and then it'll kick on when it reaches a certain level, trigger the water to come back on to fill the device back up. So it makes that, because if you're pumping this much humidity and you would have to fill the humidifier up every day, it would become a chore. So the fact that it does that all by itself saves me a lot of time, because this thing, if it ran all the time, it actually pumps out 21 liters of water per hour. Atomizer can pump out. It's obviously not pumping that much out because it's not running all the time, but that's what it can run if it's running full time. So it's a heck of an atomizer. You can see sometimes I do leave it on because I like it to run. I just like it to run for 15 minutes just to kind of clean these out, run some fresh air through it, run some fresh oxygen, and make sure the odor is clean. So that's how I usually know when it's bad in here, the odor, because mushrooms are, bacteria can grow on it, and even mushrooms can smell funky. So it's important to keep this room clean with that bleach water. You want it to smell clean. The minute you start smelling funkiness, you kind of want to address that and clean that up. But right now it smells relatively clean. Smells some really clean humidity. It's blue in my face. And some mushrooms too. You smell some blue oysters. But yeah, it works really great. And it really, without this thing right here, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. This thing can also grow anywhere around 300 to 400 pounds of mushrooms a month in this little tent. So this right now barely has any mushrooms in it. So I just want you to imagine, say if all these were full of mushrooms, and that mushroom right there is a 4-pound flush. Take that, I'd be able to fit 10 of those on that shelf there, 10 on that shelf, 10 on that shelf, 10 on that shelf. And, you get the gist. I got 3 shelves in here now. I can fit 2 more shelves in here once I'm running full production. And that 300 pounds a month can easily add up that way when you're running 10 pounds there, 10 pounds there, 10 pounds there. It adds up over a whole 4 weeks to a lot of mushrooms, really. So mushroom you can grow in such a small area, and you can get a lot of production just out of a 5x10 tent when you have the right equipment to do it all. This is what I've built over the last 3 years. And that's why I have shitty mushroom. That's why I have really, really crappy cannabis grow lights, because I spent my money on this. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, I know how to grow cannabis, but my lights for growing cannabis suck. And I bought cheaper lights when I first started growing cannabis because I spent my money on this. And everything in this tent, there's easily $2,000 to $3,000 of equipment in this tent invested in it, between the tent and all the devices needed to run this as well. It all adds up over time. And then we have the whole back of the tent over here, and then we have a light back here too. But this is our where our air gets scrubbed. So we have a air scrubber here that comes in and runs over to that to the humidifier, and it brings in some fresher air from over here, kind of what I call stale air. And then we have a air conditioner over there that I run in the summer. It runs for about 3 months, and that feeds into the tent as well when we need to keep cooler temps. And then we have an AC Infinity unit here, 4-inch fan unit that runs right here, that goes on for 20 minutes. And the reason I choose AC Infinity for my breeding tent is because you can use most of their equipment in high humidity situations. So this thing right here, this fan gets the shit beat out of it. I will tell you, the things I pull out of it are beyond disgusting, because when spores liquefy, excuse me. So say spores get into water. Oh, I got more moisture on my keypad. Let me get that off. When they get into moisture, they kind of form the sludge, and the sludge can actually eat through equipment. It actually it can destroy your fan. AC Infinity is the only one I've ever seen that cannot be destroyed by the sludge. I've seen the sludge destroy 2 other fans. They'll eventually get into the blade, and then they'll start to eat the plastic. Believe it or not, the mushrooms spores can eat through plastic, especially if they're more synthetic. I guess they're more natural ingredients. I guess green ingredients they'll like to eat more. But I have this bucket dripping here because so this is why I have the bucket here. So this thing fills up with water that drips from here. So this thing's full of some nasty sludge right now. I kind of forgot about it to clean it out. So as I said, the moisture turns into a sludge, and then it'll drip out of the unit. So I have that bucket under there to catch everything that comes out, but I have to clean that thing out about once every 4 months. The fan, you can hear it'll start getting crusty in there, but man, it's just disgusting what that thing holds in it. So you can see it's getting really humid in here now. Half the tent you can't even see, and it's running pretty hard now. So we're gonna shut that tent up, head back upstairs. We're back up here. So if we leave the top of the tent open, I like to get new fresh air into the top too, and that helps. My nose is running because I'm breathing in so much humidity. So we're going to try to zip this up. All right. So we leave the top open up here just like this. Sometimes I'll leave it a little more open. It allows a little fresh air to come through. Humidity is not really going to pass through here because humidity kind of falls. So kind of make sure the bottom's, seal tight. But you can see humidity actually comes out of everywhere when it's full. We got humidity coming out of our drain plug here. It's pretty cool. I don't know if you can see it, but this is our drain. So this whole area drains towards here. This is how we clean it out. We have a hole down here. So when it gets too wet, moisture comes out in the hole, the drain plug of the tent. So it's really convenient to the location where it is, how everything drains, so that how easy it is to clean. Poke the hole in there, and then everything just drains out the hole, and it's very easy to keep clean. But other than that, everything works pretty well. For what I have, this other stuff back here is for my laundry, which I need to replace with a 4-inch plastic line, but right now that shit's expensive. Wait for the price to drop. The 4-inch PVC is it's ridiculous. It's like $10 a foot, I swear. Well, it actually is $10 a foot, and that's why I haven't finished the inside of my tent yet, because that green PVC is so expensive right now. But it'll be replaced with the PVC that runs to the washer and dryer that are on the other side of this wall here, and it goes out the side of the house there. So kind of all runs into one area here. This is my alley, kind of, where I hold some equipment, and then all the exhaust stuff runs. You can see it's all pouring out of there right now, but it'll eventually stop because it needs to reach the thermostat needs to go up to 75%, which is almost there, and then it'll shut off itself. So it's awesome. I don't have to worry about it. It's keeping the right humidity. It all runs by itself. And that one I just bought, the atomizer, should last for 2 years. So I shouldn't have to worry about it for 2 years. Everything should run pretty smooth. I would like to upgrade one of the fans, and I eventually will probably have to, but so far it works. So we got to bring these mushroom bags up too, because we're going to put them in the pressure cooker. We got right here with me. Now we're going up to the kitchen. Turn some lights on in here. Basically, these go into a pressure cooker just like this. I'm going to put 3 bags in here. You remember these are the 3 bags I just made earlier and tied up. So these are my to grow oyster mushrooms in. First step to doing this is you have to have a pillowcase. So this is the method that a lot of people don't know. If you put a plastic bag into a pressure cooker, you're gonna burn the shit out of it. So this is let me see what material it is, because it's actually important to pick the proper material. 60% cotton, 40% polyester. I like the mix because it won't burn a hole in it. So we're going to put the pillowcase in there, and then we're going to stuff the mushroom bags in there. So I'm going to put the filter side up, the mushroom bag filter side up just like this into the pressure cooker with the fold going inward. I want the folds all to be inward on top of each other. So we got 3 bags in here. We usually fit 3 bags in this pressure cooker, and then we got a larger pressure cooker. We got our bad boy here. This one can hold 6 of these small ones, or 3 large ones, 4 large ones actually, or 6 small ones. So this other pressure cooker is a little bit smaller. You can see this one's a little smaller. And we're going to make sure that pillowcase is folded. We're going to fold all that back over and get some water now in this pitcher. It's pretty much all the water that's required. That could probably go a little less. About all the water that's required to run that for 2 hours. We're going to dump that in there. Get that pressure cooker rolling. You put it on a bigger burner. If anybody didn't know, your stove usually has one burner that burns a lot hotter than your other one. Make sure you put your pressure cooker on that burner. And we'll put the lid back on it. And we'll get her all ready here. Make sure that when you do these bags, you gotta make sure where you're sealed, where your little thing pops out, is clear of any kind of pillowcase. If it gets stuck on the pillowcase, it can actually not click up and it won't engage right. So you gotta make sure that this little thing right here is clear of the pillowcase. All right, let me see your comments now. I need to get some cannabis here. Float valve. There you go, Perry Wood. That's the word I was thinking of earlier that helps me fill my humidifier up automatically. Do you think a reptile fogger will work good? Reptile foggers work good, but not enough for mushroom production. They're more or less meant for small aquariums. And as you know, aquariums aren't as big as a 5x10 tent. But they do. You're better off to use small humidifiers and small tents if you are. I do have, I recommend Vornado brand. I use Vornado in my cannabis tent. They are phenomenal humidifiers. Then they can humidify 3x3x6 tent pretty easily. Check out they're like a German-made humidifier, and I've had one for like 7 years, and that motherfucker's still going strong. And it uses a wicking system. You can buy the wicking system usually at any Walmart or any place. And you put the wicks in there and you fill it, and it can fit 4 gallons of water in it. And you basically only have to fill it up like once a week. It's about $110, I think, now on Amazon. But that thing, I still, like I said, I've had it for 7 years. And it's awesome. But if you're going to use them, try to use the wick ones. If you're using if you're using any kind of ultrasonic humidifiers that use heat, you're going to heat up your environment too much. So stay away from those in mushroom production. You want to go with humidifiers that use more like a wicking system, like the Vornados use, where you can basically put cold water in there. It uses these wicking system where it wicks it up in these wicks, and a fan blows that moisture air out of the whole unit. That's a very good way to keep, because you want the humidity to be cool. You don't want it to be warm humidity. That's not good for mushrooms. They do not like warm humidity. So you got to make sure that your mist is cool. But we got that going now. Let's smoke a little cannabis, and then we're gonna make some FECO. You can see right here we got our FECO device all set up. We got ice going. We need to set that up. I got cold water in my freezer. I don't want it to freeze. We'll probably take that out here and make sure this thing heats up properly, because I don't want my house to blow up, while I'm smoking weed. Sounds complicated. You know what? The only thing that's complicated is the first time you ever do something. But do you ever know that? The first time you did it, it was complicated. But the 10th time you did it, was it complicated anymore? Most of the time, no. So just remember that the only reason it's complicated is because you just don't know how to do it. But it doesn't mean that you can't learn it and then be an expert just like anybody else is. Because I was at that 2020, I didn't know anything about mushrooms. Believe it or not, I didn't know anything about herbal medicine. Barely knew anything about CBD. I just smoked cannabis. I grew cannabis, and I didn't really know much about anything else. So this growing mushrooms is basically a learning experience that's nonstop, because there's so many different ways to grow mushrooms. There's so many methods. And then when you buy a new piece of equipment, you have to learn how to use that piece of equipment. And so it's a nonstop learning process and fighting through fears of like, oh, I don't know if I can do this anymore. When you get to a point where you kind of struggle with it. Because I still get, like I said, I ran into problems this winter, and you learn from it. You lose mushrooms, and I have to go out and spend more money to buy other mushroom species that I lost, and start back over again. Well, thank you, Sigoria. I'm going to make sure I say that name right. Sigoria. Justin's easier to say, but you gotta find my mouse. I really do think I broke my mouse on my key. Oh, it's working again. No, it's not. I think I broke the keypad the mouse pad on my laptop here, but I do have another wireless mouse, so it still works. Oh, appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining me. We had 27 in the house still. Let's give away this bottle of lion's mane here let me go get this cannabis I wanted to smoke. Give me 1 second. Hell yeah. What do you guys think of that? Pretty cool, isn't it? Mushroom light. But it changes color. You can also make it stop. So you can just do one color like red, do some red. We need some green to lighten up the mood. There we go. It's good for the background. That's my friend Debbie Holtz. She gave me that for Christmas. Appreciate her. And apparently you can buy that at Walmart. They may not sell it at your local store. You may have to buy it online and get it shipped to your store, from what I saw. So it may not be in stock, but I think you can get it at Walmart and like Hobby Lobby. Clear my bowl out and then load another one here, but we're going to give away some of this tonight. That's what the lion's mane is for right here. We got some lion's mane from Great River Mushrooms. 60 capsules. We got all the information on how to take it on the back. We also have our website, and then we have take 2 capsules a day. GreatRiverMushrooms.com is basically another way just to if you have any questions while you're taking it, you're not going to get any better, service than when you message me. You're basically a way to contact the owner of the company and have me answer you, back. So don't be hesitant to ever ask me a question through my website, my Instagram, my personal page that has to do with any of my products. I do have a lot of information on my website, and I don't tend to try to be, I'm not trying to dismiss you when I just give you my website when people do ask me about products, because the website does have a lot of information and more than I can, explain in the message. So don't think I'm trying to be dismissive if I do send you to my website. I just do that because the website has a lot of information about my products. So go check out Great River Mushrooms. There's tons of information about everything I sell on there. So GoDaddy allows me to put all the information I can on there, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to put everything I know about the product so that you know what you're taking. How much is a jar? These are $13, and that's $5 shipping. If you live close to Quincy, Illinois, you can find me. I do local pickups, I do local drop-offs, and it's $13 then. So usually $5 to $6 to ship. I usually do next day shipping, so when you do order it, I do ground advantage. So you're going to get usually 3 to 4 days after your order. Correct, Sandra. $13 for 60. Yeah, this is where I do all my mushroom production stuff. We have a pretty big kitchen. We got a table over here, and then we have another counter space here, which is we're gonna strain our cannabis here. We have our FECO oil right here all ready to go, and then we have this part of the kitchen that's kind of an L shaped here, and we have our stove here with our microwave and another stove over here. So we do have a lot of room. I'm lucky for the amount of space I have in here. My house works very well to have kind of a commercial kitchen. I keep this room really clean. I'm just a clean guy in general. So the floor gets cleaned twice a week. Seriously, I sweep it twice a week and then mop it once a week. So it stays pretty clean in here. It has to when I'm making food products that people buy. So we need a new dishwasher. Dishwasher's broken right now. I can't wait till I upgrade that this summer because I'm tired of doing the fucking dishes. And that thing's been broken for a couple of years now. And it's one of those necessities where I'm like, well, I don't need it. But I usually do that once by hand, and then I just store my dishes in there now. But I will admit the dishes do get a lot cleaner when you hand clean. So yeah, our pot over here is heating up. What tends to happen too, if your throttle gets kind of stuck here, I call it my throttle. Just your pressure cooker here. You got your safety thing back here that first shoots out. This is like the thing that shoots out of your turkey when it's done. So this is the safety thing that basically will blow out if your pressure cooker gets overheated, and it basically keeps your pressure cooker from exploding. So that's first going to pressurize, and then your other thing is going to get stuck. So if it tends to get stuck right here because of the moisture issues, I just take something like a towel, and I take the towel and I push it up against there. Make sure you don't put your hand on it. This thing's really hot. Make sure the towel is on it. And what's going to happen is it's going to pressurize just enough to become unstuck. So now you can see it poked up now, and now it's all pressurized. So what was happening was it tends to get stuck because it's right between wanting to shoot the right amount of pressure out and not having enough pressure. So it'll shoot water all over your damn floor. And you'll have that happen while you walk in here, and all of a sudden there'll be a puddle of water on the floor because the throttle likes to get stuck like that. So that fixes the issue. If you just push on it, take a rag, push on it for about 10 seconds, and it'll readjust the pressure enough just to shoot it out, and then you won't have that issue. All right, Gabe. I'll see you in probably an hour, Gabe. I'll join you live. So Gabe is over there at the high 420. I didn't have a grinder in here, but I don't need a grinder. This weed's dry enough to. I'm not gonna plant my plants tonight. I didn't have enough time, but we're gonna make this FECO oil, and probably if I did some plants, I'd be live for too long, man. And tomorrow we're gonna have a big party celebration, 8:30 p.m. Central. To make sure you guys join us, join me. We're gonna have a party. We're gonna kick off a big celebration, have some giveaways, just for the fact that we had such a phenomenal week, phenomenal month at Great River Mushrooms. I just want to, thank everybody for that and have a little giveaway and celebration for that. So tomorrow is actually the last day of January already. So we're going to go through all what GoDaddy keeps track of everything I sell, basically all the inventory I sell. And we're going to go over everything that I've sold over the last month. I think it's pretty awesome, some of those numbers that I'm seeing of the products and the amount that I'm selling now. And it's awesome, guys. I thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. So now this pressure cooker is going to start rocking here in a minute. And we're going to smoke some of this cannabis again. Cheers. Don't forget to hit those love, like, and reaction buttons. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Hit those love buttons for the mushrooms. For the mushrooms. But I think I need to start selling these at the farmers markets. Because honestly, I've never seen these before. I'm like, you sell them at Walmart, but I'm like, I've never seen them. So yeah, I think I should get a couple of them, sell them at the farmers market, and see what happens. Let's get some mushroom lights into some people's hands. What do you think? Would you pay $15 for that? It actually has 8 different colors, battery powered, and you can you basically just touch the top. And you can do a color changing one too. It changes from all the colors. Pretty cool. But yeah, eventually I will be selling clothing at the farmers market. I'm kind of working out how I will make the stand do that, but I'm gonna be getting into clothing, and like I said, I'm waiting to start the new job so I can spend more money to make more money, and buy more inventory to actually do that and do it effectively. Because I don't want to have like one shirt and have it in one size. I want to have multiple shirts, multiple sizes, and obviously it's going to take some money to get there. So it'll be pretty cool when we start selling all that at the farmers market, when we get into more kind of different mushrooms shirts. And my brother actually has a t-shirt making machine kind of, and it really helped me make the t-shirts pretty awesome. And I'll be able to make custom made kind of mushroom shirts and sell those as well. So, and they'll be a pretty affordable cost, because I'll be able to cut the cost down since I'm making the shirts myself. But people love finding shirts like that have kitty cats with mushrooms on them and other things. I know that mushrooms are pretty deep culture in a lot of what women wear, especially like hippie women and hippie men. They like wearing mushroom stuff. But the culture runs pretty deep in America for sure. So cheers, everybody. All right. It's really cold water out now. It's gonna go right here now. This is the FECO machine. Basically, you need really cold water because it's required to attract the alcohol out of the device here. So it actually got a little too frozen, so we're gonna have to break it up here somehow. Not really just use a knife. So we broke it apart with a knife. We'll turn this pressure cooker down now. So now it's rocking in here, and it's pressurized at 15 psi. So now we're going to set our timer for 2 hours. Going to set it for 2 hours. It's going to sit in here at 15 psi. So that's how long the minimum kind of you want to put it in. You could go 2.5 hours, but I think 2 hours is fine. It actually has been in there 2.25 hours now. So we got some chilly cold water here. And you basically have a pump here. So this pump is going to pump cold water up into this coil here, which the coil is going to attract the alcohol out of here. It's on this burner here. So right now we're going to extract the FECO that's in this thing right here. You can see this thing is full of Everclear that has been sitting in some cannabis trim since the January 12th. So it's been in there for what, 18 days. Like I said, you want to freeze it for a minimum of 2 weeks. So this has been in there for 18 days frozen. I took it out about an hour ago, so it could be unfrozen. So we're trying a new method here. We basically have this thing here, and we have it on a pan, and we're going to run it through the screen now. We're going to dump this out on here and try to filter everything out, and then we're going to try to press it. Yeah, I think we have a press. Let me get that out. But we do have our press, and he actually reminded me that earlier. This is our press device, which I'll get out now. So we have a device that allows us to strain the cannabis and then press it and then get all the alcohol out we can. But sometimes you lose alcohol in the cannabis, and you lose out on a lot of it. So we're just going to get this. We got a little plastic piece we got to get out of here too. So a little plastic piece that goes on this thing like this. And this thing's going to basically sit on a little fruit, whatchamacallit, fruit crank thing. Basically, that helps you smash fruit. I'm trying to remember what it's called, but I have it in the other room, and it helps me get everything out of this stuff here. So we're basically going to start dumping this in here, just like this. We're going to try to scoop all we can out of there. There's a lot of material here, so it kind of comes out in chunks, but we're going to get it all out of here. So this is a new method I'm doing. I'm trying to do something new to make it easier compared to what I've done in the past. So I think we'll just dump it all out. And then we'll squeeze everything out and we'll put it on our press. That's the word I was trying to think of, a fruit press. We're going to put it on a fruit press. So we got all of our dried leaf material here. We got all the alcohol out. And we have it in this filter screen here now. So we're going to squeeze everything we can out, and then we're going to put it into our other filter here. This thing is going to allow us to even get more out of it. And we're just going to stuff it in there. And the whole thing will fit in there just right. So now we're going to get our press, and the alcohol is going to continue to come out of there. So we need to make sure that elevated, or so it doesn't come out of this tube here, because otherwise it's going to run out of here. So going to keep it slightly elevated. And we got our pan here. And we're going to get another thing too. We're going to dump this alcohol into there. So. This is actually the pan that it's going to cook in, but we're going to dump that in last. We want to make sure that we filter it again. So. We're going to dump it into here. All right, now we got the filtered alcohol there, and now we're going to squeeze the rest of this out. And we'll get the canning thing. This is the device I was trying to think of right here. So this is going to squeeze the rest of everything out of there. So we're going to set it underneath here. And we're going to press it down, and we're going to squeeze everything, the rest of that's out of here. And this thing works really, really good. But you got to make sure that it sits high enough. I got to get another pan here. You got to make sure it sits high enough so that you can actually make sure it drains with gravity, just like that. So we're going to use gravity to kind of drain it. We're just going to keep cranking it down, making it tighter. And it's basically going to all come out here once we start filtering it, push it down. And this is a great way to get more product, because otherwise you can't really squeeze it out unless you have something like this, And I can see this thing filling up. It's going to be dumping a whole bunch out of here. See that all coming out of there. And that's product that I really wouldn't have been able to squeeze out by hand. Really, really dark too, so it's got a lot in it. So just going to keep cranking down. You can see that I actually bent it too, so it does tend to bend. But we're going to get this into that and get it cranking, and then I'm going to give this line the main away. And basically, this machine is going to get rid of all the alcohol, and we're going to recover 80% of the Everclear. So to squeeze down more, I usually put it between my feet, because you can get some really good leverage. Just keep cranking down, so you really can't crank anymore. You're going to get a lot of good squeezes out of it if you do this right between your... We definitely got a lot more out of there. You can see. Squeeze a lot more alcohol out. So now we're basically left with one giant puck in there. We basically took this whole thing and we turned it into this little puck that's in here now. Squeezed the shit out of everything out of it. Let's see if I can get any more twist out of her. And we're getting a couple more. But you don't want to get it too tight, because you got to remember, you got to take it apart too. It might get stuck. And eventually you could bend it and break it like I've done before. So I think we got a lot of it out. I'm going to dump that rest into here now. And then we're going to filter it one more time before we put it into our other thing. We'll filter it again. So we'll have a double filter kind of. Dump that into there. Now we're left with our mixture of our mixture of our Everclear and cannabis oil. And now we wanted to evaporate it down to a FECO base. So we'll filter that one more time and move some of the stuff out of the way. And we just use filter bags, the 1 gallon filter bag. Found them on Amazon. See, there's one here. We'll get a different size. And we're just going to dump it through there again and make sure that we filter that again. This is a 73 micron filter. And we'll filter it right into the container that we're going to put it in. So this is the final container that's going to go in. It has clamps on it. This is where it's going to connect to our machine. So we're going to put a little filter bag on top of that and then run our mixture through one last time just to get the last impurities out. We don't want any. I got the filter bag the wrong way. We don't want to have any impurities in here because they'll eventually burn in the machine and it'll smell and taste like shit. So we're going to run it through here, dump this through this filter bag. Let's see there. And you can see there is a little shit left in there right here. You can see that there's a bunch of debris. So of course, there are stuff that get even through the tiniest filters, and that's why we were doing this here. So we're going to filter that all out of there and get all that crummy stuff out. And then we're left with our pure base FECO that now we're going to evaporate it. And it's pretty cool how this all happened. So we're going to shake that all out. We're really good there. And now we're going to clamp it onto the device. And I totally forgot to get my wrenches. Give me 1 second. I need my wrenches to tighten these off. Basically, to avoid evaporation, you really want to tighten your hoses down on this machine. So this thing right here, the coil machine, has a connection here that I make every time I connect the machine. And I need to make sure that connection's tight because otherwise you'll lose Everclear and you'll lose product that otherwise you could reclaim. So we're just going to make sure that's tight. So my wrench works properly. There we go. So we also use tape as well. You can get tape all day at the plumber store. Seal your joints, otherwise you'll lose steam out of there. And not steam, but you're going to lose Everclear. So you want everything to be where the connections are. You want them to be nice and tight and sealed. And we're going to seal this one up now. Let's drop that wrench on my foot. I've actually lost a little bit of product out of here, and that's where you can lose like 5% or so. You know, if you seal up your joints properly, you won't have any evaporation points. That's where you're going to lose your Everclear is from evaporation. So, hell yeah, I've seen that thing you do, Joe. You got some cool equipment, man. Hell yeah, Joe. Super. I've seen that filter thing that you use, the funnel and the vacuum. I'd like to know more about that. All right, so now we're going to put this clamp on. So we got here, going to have our burner. This is an electric burner. Make sure you use an electric burner because otherwise you're going to have an open flame near something that's flammable. So we're going to put this on our burner and clamp our thing, clamp it all ready and get it all ready to go. We're going to turn our burner on full speed. So we're going to turn it on now. Get that rolling. We got our pump now that we're going to turn on as well. Like I said, we have a pump in our cold water here. We're going to make that connection now, turn it on. We'll plug that in right here. And we'll get that going. We basically got our on off up here for our hot from our cold. So we're going to dump some cold water in here. And then we can add ice as well. So we do have ice available too. So make sure that you have ice available, because ice is what attracts the vapor out and kind of turns it. So basically, it's going to evaporate in here, turn back into a steam. The cold water, the cold environment is going to attract it, turn it back into a vapor. Sorry, and back into a liquid from a vapor. And then it's going to come right out of here and dump into this bottle. Come right back out as Everclears, and I'll be able to reuse it again. So we got a dump. Basically, it's going to fill up down here, and then we have another valve here that allows us to dump the water out as it fills up. So it'll basically rotate the water around, keep the water cold around the coil. I'm going to add some ice in here too, because ice is good. It'll help keep it a lot colder. Oh, my mouse decided to work in here. Sweet. Doris, that's funny. We need to give away that lion's mane too, huh? We'll get this device rolling. It usually takes about 20 minutes to completely evaporate what I need to, so. We're gonna get some ice, put some ice in here. We just dump a couple handfuls in here. Let's make sure it doesn't overflow. Obviously, overflowing is not good. But we have something to catch everything that overflows. We got a tray here that kind of catches it. So once it reaches 180 degrees Fahrenheit, it will start to evaporate and turn alcohol. The alcohol will start to evaporate out of the liquid and turn back into a gas. The gas will then go through the cold water coil and then turn back into a liquid and come out into the bottle. So everything looks good to go, looks safe, and we're multitasking too. So we not only are we pressure cooking, but we're making FECO. So multitasking. All right, let's bring this screen up a little bigger. That's not what I want. Is that what I want? That's what I want there. All right. Everybody, we got 38 entries in here. Let's give this lion's mane away. Anybody else want to get in that lion's mane? I'm giving away a whole bottle. Ship it out to you tomorrow. And I'm trying to get somebody who's never been on it before, who's never tried lion's mane. I would love them to win it tonight. Even if you do get into it and you are an avid user of it, give it to a friend. I'd love you to gift it to somebody. But I'd love for tonight's giveaway to go to somebody who has never tried lion's mane. Hell, or if you win it, share it with a friend. It doesn't really take much to feel it. You only need to take it for a day to realize that they actually work. So, like I said, all I do is educate people, provide the product for them, and the lion's mane takes care of itself. Can't see me. It's dark over here. I need better lighting in my kitchen. So right now we're at we're to an evaporation point right now. I'm going to give one more minute on the giveaway and we'll give that away, but we're at 170 degrees with the we got a little bit of a leak. Take care of that right now. That's pretty easy to do right after while you're doing it. We got everything working properly. We just have a little bit of a leak right where it usually leaks. and it probably takes a couple turns of the wrenches. There we go, leak stopped. So what happens is it'll turn back into a liquid form. And what will happen is it'll turn liquid here. Well, you can't see me. Let's turn my big up screen bigger. So what'll happen is it turns back to a liquid when it gets up here. It'll back up right here, and if this is leaking here, you'll get drips here, and every drip is alcohol that you're losing. So you can see right now we have Everclear coming out just like we want. It's coming out at a good steady stream. We want to make sure that the water stays cold up here. So we see we got some ice in here. The minute that ice starts melting, we want to make sure we got more fresh ice behind it. So we got really cold water in here. You can see it's still ice. And this water is filtering through here. And basically just filtering around, these are my control valves here. We got one coming in, one coming out. And then we got our electric thing over here going full speed ahead. Looks like we got another leak back here too. I'm gonna take care of that real quick. It's interesting. I usually don't get leaks there, but I see one. And probably just a little bit tighter. And you must make sure you don't touch that with your hand. It's obviously really hot. So we have special gloves for that. I got these rubber gloves. And I need to twist that pipe. If you see the pipe just twisted and it actually got bent, we're going to have to bend it back. In order to do that, I got to grab it and crimp it. So there we go. I got two gloves on too, so make sure you never grab that. That fucker's hot. We got We're going to exchange these valves. I don't like where that valve is. All right. Making it work a little better. Sometimes you make adjustments on the fly when you're doing this. Everything's working great. We don't have any leaks anymore. But our water is so cold that it's actually clogging up our line. So in order to fix that, we got to take out some of the water by hand. You kind of do it a couple ways. It's working now. It got unclogged. There we go. Sometimes the ice gets in the line and it won't drain. So it's working now. We're going to throw some more ice inside there. We're going to take the ice out now. Dump some ice in there. We're going to dump a good load in there. I want it to be nice and cold again. And then we're going to start feeding it water again. You can see now it's cold. We still got a little bit dripping out. We've kind of lost some water in here, so need to put some more water in there real quick. Then you just add it from the drain because that was short water anyway. Still getting some drips. We need to get it colder now, so we're just going to keep adding ice, make sure we're keeping those pads cold. Kind of stopped dripping, so I don't know why it did, but we'll check that out real quick. There it goes. Now it's running again. But that's exactly why we use electric, because you can get leaks, and leaks are never good. So give away this lion's mane now that I think we figured it out. Got it running again. Got some last minute people getting in here. That lion's mane. Thank you all for joining me. Don't forget to hit that like, love, reaction button. We all love a little bit of lion's mane. So we're gonna give this thing away, and let's do it. We got 39 entries. 23 people still in the house. Thank you all for joining me. All righty. Just making sure it's not going to blow up. All right, let's give it away, guys. Good luck, everybody. Good luck. Doris Wood. Didn't Doris say she'd love to have some? If I remember right, Doris Wood lanyard. Is that the Doris that won the guitar on E Freezy's giveaway? Oh, hell, there she is. Congrats. Hell yeah. Let's get that. Where's that sound at? There we go. Congratulations, Doris. Congrats there, Doris. Just send me your shipping information and I'll get that out to you tomorrow, but congrats. Thing overflowed, sorry. I heard some dripping in my, that's why I got a pan in there that catches everything that overflows. Congratulations. Heck yeah, Doris. Basically, that FECO is just going to evaporate down to, I got to check on it. I usually open it up and just check. And the great thing is it's not under pressure, so I can just open it up as long as I'm wearing my pot holder. And you want to make sure that you get it to a point where you're not going to start burning the FECO. You want to get it right to where the alcohol is about to be done burning off. And then we're going to use a candle warmer to burn the rest of it off. And from what I saw, this looks like we're going to have a good extraction. Every FECO extraction is different because it really depends on what you put in it, how strong the cannabis was, how much THC. So the more THC, the stronger the cannabis. If you actually use flower or not, that can be a big, how much you actually get out of the FECO. We're going to give it a check here now. I'm going to pop it open here. And make it turn my screen back on bigger there for a second. There we go. We're just going to pop that open here. I'm going to leave the laptop over there just in case something splatters. I don't want to land my laptop. Put our gloves on. We're going to pop this open. We're going to see how much alcohol is left in here. All we need to do is get a peek. We don't need to see much. We still got a lot left in there. So we still got a lot left in there, and we're gonna keep that little get to boiling all that off and turning it back into a liquid. You can already see how much Everclear we've already extracted out of there. You can see this is a big bottle, as they call a handle of Everclear, and we filled up to here right now. By the time it's all done, it'll probably fill up to here, and we'll be able to reuse all that Everclear for our next project, our next process of extracting Everclear or making FECO. You can see me a lot better over here. I don't want lighting. Maybe I'll put that there. Oh. Ran out of water again, but that's what we got this over here for. We can dump it in by hand. Sometimes the pump goes dry. So yeah, the rest of the process is pretty simple. We're going to evaporate it, get it to a point where, you know, it's going to be pretty simple to put into our syringes. You want to get it right to a point where it's going to be more like a gel and not a liquid, and it's not going to harden up as well. So that is the in-between point of where you want to get FECO, not a liquid and not a hard substance. You want it to be more like a gel. So we're probably going to end this live here. We've done everything kind of wanted to. Guys, go check out Ohio 420. He's on right now. I'm probably going to go join his live as well. But I thank you guys for all joining me today. You guys for 3 hours. And hopefully you guys learned a lot. So I appreciate all the love and all the support over the last month. And don't forget to join me tomorrow at 8:30. We're going to have a big celebration. We're going to have some people, some guests up on the screen. And we're going to give away a bunch of stuff. So hopefully you guys join me tomorrow. I appreciate all the love. What's that? A whole bottle? Yes, it was a whole bottle I gave away tonight. What were you talking about? Are you talking about a whole bottle of Everclear? This is a handle, so it's basically 2 bottles of Everclear when I refer to a handle. So thank you all for joining me tonight. I hope you appreciate all the knowledge and the education about how to grow mushrooms, and I hope you guys will join me tomorrow. So go check out Ohio 420, and we'll end this here with Great River Mushrooms commercial. Again, go check out greatrivermushrooms.com. We offer a lot more than just mushrooms. So we'll see you guys later. Y'all have a good day, and much love.